Chapter 1324. Next up was the drinking competition. This was also a tradition. As long as it was a festival like this, everyone would basically fall. If they didn't fall, it meant that the atmosphere was not up to the standard. And today it was even more lively. After all, a lot of people had returned, and all of their emotions were contained in the alcohol. In the past, they would only drink to Yi Hua, but now that Yi Yan and God Yi had returned, they naturally had to drink to them as well. The two sons even had to help their father block the alcohol. And the most awesome one was Ali. She could drink a lot. Yi Lu was a bit lacking. After blocking a few cups of alcohol for her father, she felt a bit dizzy. No matter what, Lu Xiener was God Ye's girlfriend, and in the future, she would be Little Honor's wife. Perhaps because they weren't familiar with each other, they didn't joke around too much, but Lu Xiener still felt a bit dizzy. Seems like God Yi has a chance today. Your Honor, do you want to have a drink with your wife? Lai Gu started talking nonsense under the influence of alcohol. The faces of Qingye and the others were all red, but they weren't drunk yet. On the other hand, Yi Hua was a bit tipsy. After all, he drank quite a bit of alcohol just now, and his head was a bit dizzy. That's right, Your Honor should have a drink with your wife. Even Wei Chong, who didn't speak often, shouted out. Tang Wei, who was at the side, was also tipsy and fell onto Wei Chang's body. Seems like Wei Chong has a chance tonight too. Not only Wei Chong, Zishan had also fallen onto Yi Hong's embrace. Gong Yu had also fallen onto Yi Ju Tian's embrace, and Dongfang Yu had also fallen onto Yi Ju Tian's embrace. I really want to take Yi Hua's place and ask for poison from Qing Su to poison Ju Tian to death. No. I want to sterilize that damned cat Ju Tian. In any case, almost all of the ladies had fallen onto their loved ones. As for what would happen tonight, of course, it would be to express their love. Probably only Yi Hua, the boss, didn't have a beauty in his embrace anymore. That was why Lai Gu couldn't help but shout out, "Mom, go!" Dong Huangli was cheering for her mom. Dad is the boss, so he should at least have some face. Only sensible women will be liked by men. Mom is a bit immature. Hearing her daughter's words, Dong Huang Baiji didn't have any reaction. Just because Dong Huang Baiji and the others drank a bit of wine didn't mean that Dong Huang Baiji and the others would be obedient. On the contrary, when they heard that their daughters were supporting Yi Hua, they felt very depressed in their hearts. Qingye was also the same. Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing seemed to be planning to give face to Yi Hua. After all, there were already two people who were disobedient, and if the remaining two people were to be disobedient as well, then it would definitely not do. However, when Yi Hua saw that the women were hesitating, he couldn't help but feel vexed in his heart. Thus he said coldly, "Cross cups of wine, there won't be any cross cups of wine in this lifetime. Let's drink." When Yi Hua said this, the four women were immediately stupefied. In actuality, after so many years, at least 50% of the vexation that Qingye and the others felt was due to a formality, and that was marriage. How many years had they been together? It had been around 20 years. Back then, they had agreed that they were going to get married, but every time when they asked about it, Yi Hua would always be indifferent, as if he didn't want to get married. As time passed, Qingye and the others started to get annoyed, and thus, they used another kind of method to protest against Yi Hua. After hearing Yi Hua's words just now, Yi Hua said that he wouldn't get married in this lifetime? So be it. Humph. The four women snorted at the same time, stood up and left. They didn't say anything at all. This is completely not giving any face to Yi Hua at all. All of Yi Hua's subordinates were stupefied. In the past, no matter how angry Yi Hua's wife was, she would still accompany His Honor to the end and help His Honor to leave, but now, "Mom!" Dong Huangli and Yi Yan shouted out at the same time. "Tell them to scram. Just looking at them makes me vexed." Yi Hua shouted out coldly, then raised his head and shouted. The atmosphere immediately became heavy, and all of Yi Hua's subordinates sobered up a little. Right now Gong Yu finally understood. Big Brother is already so strict with his wife, let alone other people. Sigh, it's just that Big Brother's temper. Yi Hua's temper had become much better during these few years. Just now, it was Qingye and the others who angered Yi Hua. To be more precise, it was because Qingye and the others angered Yi Hua, and the others continuously today that Yihua was unable to suppress the anger in his heart anymore. K. I didn't bicker with you all. And yet you all started to become arrogant and arrogant. The atmosphere of the banquet changed in an instant. Dad, don't drink too much. Dong Huangli pressed onto her father's cup, and her gaze was filled with heartache. Yihua looked at his own Ali. If your mother was half as sensible as you, I wouldn't have to worry so much. Yihua took a deep breath, then slowly placed down the cup and said faintly, the people from 7 deadly sins, stay behind. As for the others, go back and rest. It's getting late. All of Yihua's subordinates didn't dare to say anything else. They could only shout out respectfully, yes, Your Honor. Ali, you two should go back and rest as well. Yihua said towards the children. Yi Yan and God Yi were both drunk. All right, Dad, drink less, don't work too hard. Ali's heart aches just by looking at you. With a doting expression on his face, Yihua lightly caressed Ali's hair, then nodded his head. Dong Huangli carried on to her little brother God Yi. This fellow is already drunk and fainted. This idiot, if you are drunk and fainted, are you going to let Xian'er play by herself? Yi Lu supported onto her big brother Yi Yan, who was also drunk and fainted. Back then, before Yi Lu returned, he said that he was going to drink father's subordinates until they fainted, but in the end, he fainted before the battle even started. Soon, only Yihua and his subordinates were left in the banquet. Everyone sit over here. Yihua said lightly. Yihua appeared to be a bit powerless. He picked up the wine cup in his hand and wanted to drink a mouthful of wine. However, when he recalled what Ali had entrusted to him, he slowly placed the wine cup down. The 7 subordinates obediently sat down. Your Honor, your wife might be drunk, don't take it to heart. Wei Chang said in a low voice. If someone were to say that His Honor didn't like it, Wei Chang wouldn't believe it. Perhaps His Honor just didn't like it after a long time. Let's not talk about this matter anymore. I know what I am doing. Yes. Wei Chang was terrified. Yihua took out a stick of cigarette, paused for a moment, then passed it to everyone. Other than Yi Zizi and Brett, who didn't smoke, all of the other men started smoking. Zhu Tian expressed, this is His Honor's order. I have no choice but to smoke. Meanwhile, Brett didn't pay attention to Zhu Tian. You just want to smoke, right? As long as you don't smoke in front of me, it will be fine. Yihua silently spat out a lump of cyan-colored smoke, and the smoke gradually dissipated in the air. It's a bit like a fleeting cloud. At the very least, the subordinates were filling in the blanks. You all have also seen what happened to Ren Yao today. Yihua said faintly. Speaking of this matter, Yi Zizi became a bit angry. Your Honor, why didn't you allow me to kill that fellow back then? I had to get rid of the root. Yihua said faintly. All of Yihua's subordinates nodded their heads. If we don't get rid of the root, this matter will be like a fishbone stuck in everyone's heart. Chapter 13:25. After all, Yihua was the strongest person that Yihua had ever met. From today's situation, the guardian that has been silent for more than 10 years seems to be making a move. Therefore, I hope that everyone will be vigilant and get rid of this factor. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. But what I said just now is not the main point. Yihua flicked the cigarette ash and said lightly. All of Yihua's subordinates went into a daze for a moment. This is not the main point. Could it be that there is something else? I have decided, after this matter is settled, I will retire. Yihua's tone was a bit surprised. Following Yihua's words, all of Yihua's subordinates were astonished. Retire? Perhaps people need to retire, but Your Honor has a boundless lifespan. Why do you need to retire? Furthermore, what does this sentence mean? Could it be that the group is disbanded? Zhu Tian was a bit in disbelief as he muttered. Your Honor, you are. This news came too quickly, causing all of Yihua's subordinates to be unable to accept it. After all, we have been together for so many years. How can the group be disbanded? That's right, out of the 4 children, who do you all think is the most outstanding? Yihua asked curiously. All of Yihua's subordinates did not speak. Their expressions were rather grave. Could it be that I am drunk? Am I dreaming? Or could it be that His Honor is drunk? For his honor to actually ask such a question. It is very obvious that he is planning to retire? Your Honor, you are still young. Why are you thinking about this? Qingsu asked confusedly. Although his honor has been acting strangely these few years, I didn't expect that his honor would be acting strangely to such an extent. Just what is going on with his honor? Yi Hua said faintly. Make a plan early, then you don't have to think about it in the future. Lai Gu felt that his honor seemed to be making arrangements for his death. However, although Lai Gu was thinking like this, he didn't dare to say it out. After all, this wasn't something auspicious. Tell me, what do you all think? Yi Hua continued to ask. Wei Chang took a deep breath, then wrinkled his brows. Your Honor, if we are to choose people, subordinate feels that Dong Huangli and Yi Yan are both not bad. God Yi and Yi Lu are more obsessed with fighting. They are not suitable to be leaders. They are more suitable to be heroes. Hearing that, Yi Hua silently nodded his head. What Wei Chang is thinking is the same as what I am thinking. Do you all think so as well? Yi Hua asked faintly. All of Dong Huangli's subordinates nodded their heads. From the battle between Dong Huangli and Yi Yan, all of Dong Huangli's subordinates were able to discern something. Adding on to Dong Huangli's performance after the battle, all of Dong Huangli's subordinates were inclined towards Dong Huangli. However, here comes the problem. Dong Huangli is Dong Huangbaiji's daughter. If Dong Huangli were to support Dong Huangbaiji's side, what would Qingye say? Let's wait and see during this period of time. Whether it's Ali or Yan or in the future, I still hope that you can properly assist them. Yi Hua didn't even know what he was saying anymore. Why does it feel like I am making some final arrangements? This is truly weird. With a slight smile on his face, Zhu Tian said, Your Honor, you still have a lot of time to slowly look at it. There's no need to rush. And when I retire in the future, you can choose whether you want to retire or not. This matter is up to you to decide for yourselves. In actuality, Yi Hua's words caused the subordinates to feel a bit disappointed. Today was clearly a good day, but in the end, they felt a bit upset. At this moment, Lai Gu said gravely, Your Honor, let's not talk about anything else. Wherever you go, I, Lai Gu, will follow you. And what Lai Gu said is extremely true. Your Honor, it wasn't easy for us to gather together. We don't want to disperse just like that. Wei Chang naturally still hoped to follow his honor. Even if his honor were to go and manage that bar again, it would be fine for me to go and become a security guard again. Seeing that his honor was safe and sound, I would be able to be at ease. If I were to say that I wasn't touched, that would be a lie. To have such a group of loyal subordinates. Yi Hua suddenly felt that this was the greatest fortune that he had in his entire life. Our group naturally won't disperse, after all. We still haven't stopped conquering. Alright, it's getting late. Let's all go back and have a good reunion. After all, a moment of spring night is worth 1,000 gold. Yi Hua squeezed out a trace of a smile, then slowly stood up. However, perhaps because he drank too much, his legs became unstable. Wei Chang, who was at the side, hurriedly held on to Yi Hua. Your Honor, are you all right? This wine that was concocted by Blood Demon is quite powerful. Yi Hua said faintly, then took the initiative to leave while smoking. However, the subordinates did not leave, and Wei Chang sat down once again. His honor is acting strangely. Is it because of your wife? Pig Liver Dinglong asked puzzledly. Zhu Tian extinguished the cigarette in his hand, then said lightly, That is only one of the reasons. All these years, although his honor didn't say anything in actuality, he was still worried about the problem of the guardians, especially that fortune teller. That's right, that fortune teller cheated his honor once, and that was why his honor became vigilant. Yi Zizi said lightly. Everyone knew about this matter. To actually bewitch his honor, this matter must not be looked down upon. That's why his honor has been forging legendary weapons all these years to make himself more powerful. Brett took in a deep breath. What his honor is thinking about is the big picture. And what his honor is thinking about is that his honor's wife doesn't understand, and that's why she is complaining. This is also normal. In his honor's wife's eyes, his honor is everything. However, in his honor's eyes, there are too many things that he has to take care of, and the pressure on him is very big. Lai Gu said with a dignified tone. But don't you all feel that his honor's tone today is a bit off? Tone? That's right, it's a bit like his honor is leaving behind his will. Lai Gu muttered, and immediately he sensed 6 death stares. It's one thing for you to ridicule his honor, but to actually curse his honor to die, do you even have a bottom line? Lai Gu immediately apologized. However, after being reminded by Lai Gu, I seem to have such a feeling. While carrying this strange feeling, Lai Gu's subordinates left the banquet hall and returned to their respective homes. However, Yihua didn't go back to his mother's bedroom, as he didn't want to go back and quarrel with Qingya and the others. Gradually, Yihua walked over to his mother's bedroom. Master. When Daji, who was standing at the entrance, saw that her master had arrived, she felt happy in her heart. Yihua looked towards Daji. For so many years, Daji has been cautiously and conscientiously protecting my mother. Yihua walked in front of Daji, then patted onto Daji's shoulder. You haven't gone to rest yet. Master. Master's mother hasn't gone to rest yet. Daji can't go and rest yet. Daji said respectfully. Feeling the warmth coming from Yihua's shoulder, Daji felt very happy in her heart. As long as Master comes over to take a look at me from time to time, I will be satisfied. It has been tough on you. Yihua let out a light sigh, then pushed open the door and entered into the bedroom. Daji, who was outside, lightly closed the door, then immediately became vigilant as she observed her surroundings. Even though she knew that no one would come to assassinate her, she still appeared to be very serious. Chapter 13:26. Walking into the house, Yihua saw that his mother was sitting on the couch and was currently knitting a sweater. The children are already so big, they can't even fit into the sweaters they used to knit. Lu Jing said softly with a smile on her face. She appeared very gentle. Yihua slowly sat down beside his mother and picked up a sweater. All of these sweaters were prepared by his mother many years ago, just that he didn't have the chance to send them over. Yihua, the children are already so big, how can there be any overnight hatred between a husband and wife? It isn't easy for Qingya and the others. They are already going crazy thinking about their children. You have to be considerate of them. There's also Yutong and Yuqing. They want children but they don't. As a mother, I can understand their feelings. All in all, only when your family is happy can you do other things with peace of mind. I can't help you too much, so don't think that I'm too long-winded. Yihua said respectfully. Mother, I don't dislike you for being long-winded. It's just that, my feelings for you have already faded, and I really don't know how to deal with it. Lu Jing put down the sweater, then lightly held onto her son's big hand and said attentively, Yihua, this isn't that your feelings have faded, this is that love has turned into a kind of familial love. Look at people like us. Our lifespan is extremely long. You and Qingya and the others have just started. In the next 1,000 years, in the next 10,000 years, you have to grasp it well. After hearing that, Yihua let out a deep breath. That's right, in terms of lifespan, this is just the beginning. He felt that his feelings for her had faded a lot now. What would happen in another 20 years? Another 200 years? 2,000 years, or even 20,000 years? Could he still maintain that feeling? Right now, even Yihua was starting to suspect. Was the whole thing because of him? Or were they the ones behind it? All right, Yihua, quickly go back and rest. You drank a lot of wine again. Mother is going to sleep soon too. Yihua nodded his head, then stood up and said respectfully, Mother, I won't disturb your rest anymore. Go. Communicate well. Husband and wife need to communicate. Yes. Lu Jing sighed as she watched her son leave. She couldn't help much. After walking out of his mother's bedroom, Yihua looked at Daji, who was standing guard at the side, and said lightly, Daji, go and rest. Yes, master. Rest early too. Yihua silently nodded his head, then walked out of the bedroom. Daji looked at her master's back, and realized that her master's back was becoming more and more lonely. It was not easy for her to lose weight. I heard that tonight's banquet ended on bad terms again. How could Madam treat the host like that? Daji couldn't understand. Yihua still didn't return to his bedroom, and he was currently thinking about where he should go. Subordinates with families should not visit them, lest they disturb them. I don't have a family, there doesn't seem to be anything to say. Yi. Yihua suddenly saw a small figure and shouted out, "Uncle!" Yi immediately stopped his footsteps, then turned around and greeted respectfully towards Yihua. With a straight face, Yihua asked faintly, "Not at home in the middle of the night, what are you strolling about outside for?" "Father just came back. Mother asked me to come out for a walk." Yihua, to think that the two of you actually allowed your child to come out for a walk. I, the Supreme Overlord, am convinced. Where are you planning to go? Yihua asked faintly. Prepare. I'm going to take a walk outside the palace, Yi said honestly. Yihua slightly narrowed his eyes. Speak the truth. I have a few friends to play with. Friend. It's my uncle. I happen to be bored, let's go and see your friends then. Ah. Why? Can't I see my uncle? Yihua asked faintly. Yes. The more Yi behaved like this, the more curious Yihua became. Going to see friends in the middle of the night? This little brat was not being honest at all. Yi silently walked in front, while Yihua smoked a cigarette and walked behind. Yi's expression slowly changed. I want to see what this child is going to do, acting so mysteriously. At this moment, beads of sweat were already appearing on Yi's forehead. I didn't expect that my uncle isn't sleeping in the middle of the night, and is actually strolling around the palace. Yihua could feel that Yi's breathing was unstable, and he became even more curious about what Yi was going to do. What else can a 12-year-old child do? Sneaking around. Could it be that he is going to see a girl? Yihua felt that there was a slight possibility of that. His pubic hair hasn't even fully grown, and he already knows how to flirt with girls. He has grown up. Along the way, the uncle and nephew duo walked out of the palace just like that. Actually, it was still quite early, but today, the subordinates wanted to have a good time and got drunk, so they went to rest early. However, to the entire Wushu Empire, this was just the beginning of the nightlife. Needless to say, these few years, Wushu Empire's nightlife was quite decent. Along with the expansion of the empire, there were more and more regions. Thus, for the sake of speed, teleportation formations were also used. From this, it could be seen just how big the expansion of Wushu Empire was. It could be said that the entire North knew that Wushu Empire was the true overlord of the North, and its scale had long surpassed that of any other empire. Even the other empires were shocked by the fact that different races and humans coexisted together, especially the South. They had already classified Wushu Empire as an unstable factor, and sooner or later, Wushu Empire would be destroyed. As a huge empire, how could it not have nightlife? As the internal manager of the empire, Kai Yun was quite responsible. Kai Yun felt that whether an empire would become popular or not would depend on whether the night was bright or not. However, right now, if one were to look down at the entire North, one would be able to discover that only Wushu Empire was the brightest star. In addition to today's celebration, the entire Wushu Empire was as lively as if it was celebrating the new year. The streets and alleys were filled with people, and one could even see different races walking among the crowd. Right now, Yihua was a bit stupefied. When did my territory become like this? To think that no one actually told me about it. Look at these people, look at this density. What is Kai Yun trying to do? Is he trying to squeeze me to death here? Although that was what he thought, Yihua felt very comfortable. Originally, this was a lifeless city of death, but after the cooperation of my entire team, it developed to such a state. This is truly not bad. During the next award ceremony, I must definitely praise Kai Yun. The entire team of South Wuchi is not bad, and they are worthy of praise. Following behind Yi, Yihua felt that the more he walked, the stranger he felt. Just now, it was indeed a flourishing street, but now, it had become plain and simple. However, this didn't stop the people from celebrating. There were actually even stalls set up on the street. Barbecue? This smell is familiar. Cumin? Who got it? Wait a minute. Yihua shouted out. No one recognized Yi. After all, Yi had never openly come out. Uncle, what's the matter? Accompany me for a drink. Yihua said lightly, then walked to the stall at the side. There was even a menu on the stall, and it felt pretty good. Chapter 13:27. Drink. Yi slightly exclaimed, I don't seem to have reached the age to drink alcohol. Yes, come here. Yi slowly walked over and sat beside Yi Hua. Uncle, mother doesn't allow me to drink alcohol. Why? Yi Hua asked faintly. Mother said that I am still underage. An underage child running out in the middle of the night? I think you are precocious. Yi Hua looked at the menu and said faintly. As expected, Yi didn't say anything. 2 bottles of alcohol, pork belly, chives, eggplant, and a grilled fish. Yi Hua said faintly. Okay, boss, please wait for a moment. Yi Hua put down the menu and stared at Yi. What's your evaluation of your father? Yi hurriedly said. I can't evaluate father. I asked you to evaluate, just do it, understand? Yi Hua said gravely. Yi bit his lips and said softly. I don't like father. Yi Hua didn't feel surprised. This was a normal situation. Why not? What part of your father you don't like? Yi Hua asked faintly. Yi raised his head and looked at his uncle. So father and uncle look so similar. I didn't believe it before, but now I believe it. After father came back, mother's attitude towards me changed. Yi Hua went into a daze. So that's the case, no wonder, suddenly not used to it. This is the typical mentality of a child. How many times did you go out of the palace today? Yi Hua didn't want to dwell on the problem just now. Xiao Tian can handle it. I can't count anymore. Yi muttered, then lowered his head. The consequences of running out of the palace is very serious. Interesting. Why did you run out of the palace? Did you find a girlfriend? Yi Hua asked curiously. No. No? Then why do you run out every day? Yi Hua asked curiously. However, just when Yi Hua finished speaking, an angry shout sounded out from the side. Bastard, I asked you to fight, and you stood me up. You actually followed a bastard to eat barbecue. A clear and melodious voice resounded through the entire street. Yi Hua was curious. Who are they scolding? This aura is not bad. Yi's face stiffened. Wasn't I just late by 5 minutes? After the crowd dispersed, Yi Hua saw a girl from a different race. The girl's ears were very special. She was actually from the elf race. When did elves come to the city? Moreover, this elf walked over with a wooden stick, and there seemed to be many underlings behind him. Hooligans. Old bastard. What are you looking at? Yi was dumbfounded. This is my uncle. It's my uncle's wish that you can sit here safely. You actually scolded him. Old bastard. If Qingya and the others were here, they would definitely laugh themselves to death. After all, the words that they didn't dare to curse were actually cursed out by this elf race's little girl. That was awesome. Right now Yi Hua was a bit absent-minded. Someone actually scolded me as an old bastard. That was not the main point. The main point was that he was actually not angry. Yi Hua stared at the little elf girl and thought to himself, why am I not angry? Could it be that he was really old? Yi shot him a look. Enough, you crazy woman. Little bastard, do you have an eye disease? What are you looking at? Did you find an old man to back you up? To actually stand me up? Do you know how my 13th sister's nickname came about? Yi didn't know what to say. This little girl's looks were not bad, but there was something wrong with her brain. Did you come out at night to arrange a fight? Yi Hua asked Yi. However, before Yi could say anything, the 13th sister stepped on the stool. What do you want? This street belongs to my 13th sister. This little bastard is causing trouble in my territory. I will break his legs. Yi Hua laughed after hearing that and asked curiously. This street belongs to you? Nonsense, could it be yours? Yi Hua ignored her. What happened between the two of you? Uncle, it's like this. Yi told the story of what happened. The gist of it was that when Yi was causing trouble outside, he was also someone who had underlings. Then he came here to eat supper, and a conflict arose between his underlings. Then he arranged a fight to cause trouble. After fighting a few times, there wasn't a victor. So he kept on causing trouble, and causing trouble. However, Yi Hua also knew that the underlings of the 13th sister were all from different races. Their main job was to protect the children of different races from being bullied by humans. And Yi seemed to want to lend a helping hand. He was the kind of person who would draw his sword to help. Don't do such useless things in the future. You will have plenty of opportunities in the future, Yihua said to Yi. Yi didn't say anything after hearing that. In fact, he also wanted to retort in his heart. This Wushu Empire seemed to be prosperous, but there were also many powers that emerged from it. Maybe it was because Yi had been keeping a low profile these few years, and had forgotten about his pain. Although it wasn't enough to be feared now, it would still be a problem in the future. Yi was worrying a little too much. These kinds of problems were all small problems. There was no need to worry at all. Understood. The 13th sister was a little confused. Wasn't he very arrogant just now? Why did he suddenly become so well-behaved? Who is this man? What is your name? Yihua asked faintly. 13. Are you the 13th child in your family? No. Aya, you are such a strange person. Are you checking my background? The 13th sister couldn't help but say. She felt that she had lost a lot of face. Boss, your barbecue is here. Yihua looked at the familiar barbecue in front of him, and it was as if he had returned to the days when he was drinking in a bar. Sit down and eat, Yihua said faintly. Even if my 13th sister starves to death or gets hacked to death, she still won't eat it. 5 minutes later. Boss, your barbecued fish is getting more and more fragrant. The 13th sister shouted out. Because she drank a little bit of wine, her white cheeks were a little red, making her look very cute. Yihua, who knew the reason, didn't blame her. It wasn't easy for the other races. Although they seemed to have assimilated into the other races, they had yet to truly assimilate into the other races. Perhaps, they would be able to assimilate into the other races after hundreds or thousands of years. Yihua drank a little bit of wine and looked at the bustling streets. His mood became much better. Suddenly, he discovered that the outside of the palace indeed had a different taste. Therefore, Yihua decided not to return back to the palace. I will stay in a hotel today. I heard that there is a viewing room. Only after arriving at the viewing room did Yihua find out that the scenery he was looking at was actually the palace. Inside the bedroom, the 4 women didn't sleep. They were sitting in the main hall, waiting for Yihua to return. They were prepared to have a good chat about who was right and who was wrong in this matter. Why isn't he back yet? Qinya said in a low voice. I am simply about to explode from anger today. To actually tell us to scram again. How can I not be angry? Qian Yuqing's attitude was still considered to be good. After all, Qian Yuqing had lost someone before and knew that kind of pain. To her, it was fine as long as it was appropriate. In actuality, Qing Yutong was the same as well. She was just grumbling. Chapter 1328. However, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were different. Although they were angry, they hoped that Yihua would do something. If Yihua bought a bunch of flowers and said some beautiful words to let Yihua know that he was wrong and correct himself in the future, then everything would be fine. However, Yihua didn't do anything from the start to the end, and he even appeared to be very indifferent. This was completely different from how he was in the past. Of course, Yihua would still coax her, act coquettishly and whatnot, but right now that didn't exist. It was as if he did not have any feelings for you. This kind of situation made Qingye and Donghuang Baiji very vexed. If the feelings were gone, just thinking about it made them feel afraid. It can't be that he won't come back, right? Qian Yuqing said worriedly. In the past, when Yihua was angry, he would definitely come back to sleep with them. Although they didn't sleep together, seeing that Yihua came back, they felt relieved. If he doesn't come back, I will break his legs, Qingye said, but she was still a bit worried. Yihua had never stayed out at night before. Following Qingye's words, the 4 women continued to wait. However, what they waited for was still empty air. Suddenly, the 4 women wanted to hear steady footsteps coming from the door, or that indifferent face. Right when the women were fantasizing, the sound of heavy footsteps really rang out. This made Qingye feel as if she was hallucinating. Looking towards the others, Qingye seemed to be asking, do you guys hear this familiar sound of footsteps? Donghuang Baiji nodded her head and looked towards the door. As the footsteps got closer and closer, Qingye had already thought of her lines and was prepared to question Yihua. It is already so late, where did he go to fool around? Does he still want this family? Is he still living? When the figure appeared at the door, the four women slightly went into a daze. Ali, it is already so late. Why did you come? That's right. The person who appeared at the door was Dong Huangli. I just dealt with Yi Yan, so I went to take a look at Godye's situation. Godye's little brother is not bad, he is very smart, he knows the importance of giving birth to life. This also proved that if you don't get drunk, you can't get things done. Therefore, you must get drunk. That will be the start of the opportunity. Since the matter was already settled, Ali wanted to find her father to have a heart-to-heart talk. Of course, it was because of her mother. However, when he walked over, all of them were sitting in the living room. Looking at their posture, he knew that his father hadn't come back yet. It was so late that it was even possible that he hadn't come back yet. Sai, why bother? Which man doesn't want face? Daddy is a boss, and he wants face even more. If you guys don't give me face, it would be strange if you don't leave in anger. If Daddy meets a beautiful girl outside, or a sensible girl, then you guys are done for. Mom, you haven't slept yet. Are you waiting for someone? Is father in? Although Dong Huangli guessed that her father wasn't in, she still wanted to ask. Dong Huang Baiji remained silent. Dong Huang Baiji squeezed out a smile and said, Ali, quickly go and sleep. We are discussing some matters here. Do you want to talk about a divorce? Dong Huangli asked lightly. Her tone was completely filled with indignation for her father. Sure enough, Dong Huangli's words caused those women to go into a daze. Dong Huang Baiji even said gravely, Ali, what are you talking about? Although I am also very happy that my daughter and son have returned, but right now, my daughter is completely on Yi Hua's side. Why don't you all think about how much Mom has missed you all these years? Half of the reason why I ended up quarreling with your father is because of you all. Do you all think Mom wants to be like this? Who doesn't want to be happy with their family? The atmosphere immediately became tense. The children are too much on Yi Hua's side, and right now, they actually dare to go against me. This is too outrageous. Isn't what I said right? When you all were young, although you all quarreled with each other, in the end, Dad still lowered his head and coaxed you all. You all only know how to let Dad coax you all. If Dad coaxes you all too much, don't tell me that Dad will be happy. Why don't you all coax Dad? Love isn't something that belongs to just one party. It needs to be controlled by both parties. The thing that I hate the most is quarreling with each other because of some trivial matters. Dong Huangli was no longer the same as when she was young. If it was when she was young, she definitely wouldn't say such a thing. She wouldn't dare to say such a thing. But now that she has grown up, I know that there are some things that I have to say, and I have to say them out loud. Furthermore, I have to let Mom know that if Dad leaves you all, he won't die. Dong Huang Baiji was angered to the point that her entire body was trembling. Pointing at her daughter, Dong Huang Baiji shouted out, "Get out! Adults are talking. What is a child like you interrupting? This is none of your business." Mom, I am no longer a child now, Dong Huangli said faintly, then turned around and left. Dong Huangli looked very cool. If Yi Yan was here, he would definitely give Big Sister a big thumbs up. Awesome. To actually dare to use this kind of tone to talk to Mom. This is too awesome. Looking at her daughter leaving just like that, Dong Huang Baiji, who was angered to the extreme actually started crying out loud. She felt as if everyone no longer liked her. And that kind of feeling was extremely wronged. Qinya supported onto the Empress who was beside her. This woman is just like this. I thought that today would be a happy day. After all, the children had returned. But in the end, I found out that this happiness is actually filled with pain. Look at Ali's current appearance. She doesn't even look like she was when she was young. I really wonder if she is Ali or not. Dong Huang Baiji said while choking with sobs. She was still tightly hugging onto Qinya while crying and snot. This truly makes one's heart ache. Qin Yutong let out a light sigh. When a child grows up, they are just like this. After finished speaking, Qin Yutong started thinking whether or not she should still give birth to a child. If my child reaches Ali's age and also goes against me, that kind of feeling is simply unimaginable. I wonder how the Empress is feeling right now, Sai. When a child grows up, he would become a bit rebellious. This is also normal. Qinya consoled Donghuang Baiji attentively. How big of a matter is this? Besides, what Ali said is somewhat reasonable. However, even if everyone understands the reason, it would be very difficult to do it. But look at Ali's appearance just now. It seems like she was teaching me a lesson. Donghuang Baiji was depressed and sad. I didn't even have the chance to properly chat with my daughter, and I was already taught a lesson by my daughter. Qin Yutong said faintly. If Yen'er wasn't drunk, I reckon that what happened just now would also be the same. Big sister, you have to be mentally prepared. Qinya took a glare at her little sister. Only you know that I, Yen'er, wouldn't teach my mother like this. I reckon that Yihua won't be coming back tonight. Qian Yuqing, who was sitting at the side, muttered. She felt that she had indeed done something wrong. I shouldn't have gone along with Yihua's evil deeds. I wonder if it is still too late for me to betray Yihua now. Chapter 13:29. The two sisters still chose to continue waiting, even if they had to wait until dawn. I want to let Yihua see how long we have waited for you. Do you still have the cheek to throw a tantrum? However, Yihua was currently standing at the window of the room and looking at the palace. He thought to himself, those women should be asleep already. Why would they care if I return or not? Yihua let out a light sigh, then closed the wooden window and lied on the bed. The unfamiliar environment gave Yihua a different feeling. Sir, do you need the in-service? A gentle voice suddenly rang out from the door, causing Yihua to be startled. There is such a service. Just who invented it? The night gradually dispersed, and white fog shrouded the entire Wushu Empire, making it look like a fairyland. A scream rang out in the palace, and it was the scream of a girl. From the tone of the voice, one could tell that the girl's scream was filled with surprise, panic, and disbelief. Under normal circumstances, to scream like this early in the morning, it must be the first time one experienced something interesting in their life. After all, there was a different kind of charm in this tender voice. Or at least that was what Lai Gu judged. In Godye's bedroom, Lu Xian looked at Godye in disbelief. And me? What happened last night? Where am I? What am I doing? Why did Godye sleep together with me? Godye seemed to have been shocked by this horrifying voice as well. He realized that his head was a little painful and his mouth was a little dry. What's wrong? Why are you screaming so early in the morning? Godye asked softly, appearing very calm. However, it was only his expression that was calm. His heart was not calm at all. He sneaked a glance at the quilt. It's over, straighten your tongue and speak. Godye said softly. He slowly sat up and gently stroked Lu Xian'er's hair. The gentle action made Lu Xian a little absent-minded. Lie in my arms first and speak. Godye hugged the confused Lu Xian in his arms, and Lu Xian'er's face was red. What was I going to say just now? How did I forget about it? Godye gently caressed Lu Xian. Xian'er, it's still early. Do you want to sleep for a while more? And Lu Xian said subconsciously. After saying that, she felt that something was wrong. However, the sound of smooth breathing could already be heard from the side, and he managed to get away just like that. I'm so angry. To actually not say anything at all. In any case, I should at least say a few words. I will love you for my entire life, and I will treat you well in the future. Sigh, my God, this is really a headache. Godye was having a headache right now. Yesterday was just a joke. He really did not expect things to turn out this way. They had just confirmed their relationship yesterday, and today their relationship had taken another step forward. This speed was too fast. It's basically. Luckily, I was rather quick-witted just now. To be more precise, I was quick-witted in a moment of desperation. I pressed Lu Xian'er beside me to sleep, then pretended to sleep. But what should he say when he woke up? Thinking about his father and mother's daily life, Godye decided to learn from his father. After all, he had no experience and his father had never taught him such things. Just thinking about it gave him a headache. Of course, there was another person who was happy today, and that person was Tang Wei. After being together for so many years, Uncle Wei finally became enlightened. As expected, if a man doesn't get drunk, a woman basically doesn't have a chance. Looking at Uncle Wei's dumbfounded expression, it was simply too funny. It was as if he had been forced by himself. Uncle Wei, just give me a smile, it's not a big deal. Even when Tang Wei was speaking, she would always carry a smile on her face. For so many years, I have been looking forward to the stars, looking forward to the moon, and finally, such a day has arrived. Wei Chang basically did not know what happened yesterday. This is all thanks to his honor's wine. Furthermore, his honor looked like he was going to retire yesterday, so that's how it was. In the end, I didn't expect that Xiao Tang would be able to pick up such a great bargain. Is it a loss or not? It's a huge loss. Uncle Wei sob, Wei Chang. Xiao Tang, let me calm down for a while, my brain is a bit muddled. Wei Chang rubbed his head. This is truly painful. What's there to be muddled about? Who knows? I might be able to get pregnant. Tang Wei said happily. However, Wei Chang's heart sunk. My breed is different. No, my race is different. I have seen newborns before, and those newborns are not humans. If Tang Wei is to get pregnant, what she gives birth to will definitely be a monster that is too horrible to look at. This was also the reason why Wei Chang had always been unwilling. He didn't want Tang Wei to give birth to a monster, and he also didn't want Tang Wei to see his original body. To be honest, within the entire team, Wei Chang's original body could be counted as the most disgusting. However, Wei Chang was thinking, the entire team is unable to get pregnant, even his honor is the same. Perhaps, Tang Wei is also unable to get pregnant. God bless me, please don't get pregnant. It feels like my stomach is moving. Wei Chang. At this moment, Qinya and the others had not slept yet, they were still sitting in the hall and waiting. The sky outside had already turned white. The four women's eyes were a bit bloodshot, and they looked a bit horrifying. This kind of feeling was not very good, because Yi Hua really didn't return home at night. If a man doesn't return home at night, where would he go? The four women began to crazily fill in the blanks in their minds, imagining all possible things, and even that kind of scene could be imagined. Therefore, the more they thought about it, the angrier they got. Those with discerning eyes could see that resentment was currently gathering within the imperial palace, and this resentment was very resentful. He definitely has a woman outside. Qinya tightly clenched her fists. There's no need to even think about it. With Yi Hua's character, he is definitely like this. Towards Qinya's words, Dong Huang Baiji and the others agreed with it. Catch him, Dong Huang Baiji said coldly. The four women looked at each other. Only by catching him at the scene will that fellow admit to the truth. Solid proof that Yi Hua cheated on me. Luckily, I held back a trick in the past. Dong Huang Baiji sneered. To prevent Yi Hua from fooling around outside, Dong Huang Baiji used a special method to locate Yi Hua's location. Having such a few beautiful wives, Yi Hua didn't know if he should be happy or sad. His looks are really indescribable, but his paranoia is also indescribable, to the point where he can't wait for you to walk under their eyes all day long. When Dong Huang Baiji located Yi Hua's location, her expression immediately sunk. What's wrong, Baiji? Qian Yuqing asked worriedly. This bastard. He is actually inside a hotel. Ah. Everyone cried out in surprise. Instead of sleeping in the imperial palace, he actually went outside to sleep in a hotel. One could well imagine what he is doing. Chapter 1330. The faces of the four women were as ugly as it could be, even though they had been in the palace the whole time. However, they also heard that the hotel's reputation wasn't that great, just like those dead hotels in the past. Yi Hua didn't bother with such things, he only restricted them verbally. In actuality, he was just turning a blind eye to it. Thinking back to Yi Hua's decision back then, it seemed that today's decision was completely prepared for me. Such a long time ago. Yi Hua made such a long preparation. This is simply infuriating. This scoundrel, he actually went to a hotel. Where is my 40 meters long broadsword? Quickly give it to me. The Empress is really simple and crude right now. She even used a 40 meters long broadsword. This is a broadsword that the Empress specially prepared for Yi Hua. It's called beheading your head. As the name implies, beheading your head, this is simply too cruel. Baiji, calm down, it might not be what you think. Qian Yuqing said in a low voice. In actuality, Yi Hua wouldn't do such a thing. After all, Yihua's taste and eyesight are very high. Even Qing Yutong thought so too. How could brother-in-law do such a thing? Look at the palace. There is still a Daji waiting to be pampered. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were so excited that they completely forgot about Yihua's taste. Not just any kind of woman would be able to enter his eyes. This should be a situation where they don't trust each other. This is very bad. From what I see, this man just wants to go out and look for excitement. He can no longer be excited at home. Donghuang Baiji's words are somewhat reasonable. These days are too peaceful. There isn't any excitement at all, so this is how it is. Qingye, let's go and kill him together. Donghuang Baiji is simply going crazy. I waited at home for an entire night, and he still didn't come back, and in the end he went to a hotel. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji look the same. Seems like the two women's attitude is indeed different. They are simply jealous to the extreme. Qing Yutong hurriedly persuaded. Big sister, calm down. Running to a hotel to look for brother-in-law like this is too rash. After all, he needs to know your identity. Your brother-in-law already went to a hotel to spend the night. Who cares about his identity? We are just letting others see that their emperor didn't sleep in the palace and went to a hotel to look for women. Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing were immediately speechless. This isn't solving the problem. This is adding oil to the fire. If he ran over to cause trouble like this, it would definitely break the rhythm. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji immediately took out their weapons. From the looks of it, they didn't seem to be joking at all. Encountering this kind of problem, Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing were also a bit unable to stop them. He had to find a helper. He couldn't let this go on. However, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji seemed to know what Qing Yutong was going to do. Qing Yutong, if you go and inform people today, I won't have you as my little sister anymore. Qing Yutong went into a daze for a moment. This was still the first time that Qing Yutong saw her big sister getting so angry. It's not like brother-in-law is going to do something bad. Why does he look like he wants to kill someone? Menopause was also one of the reasons why she was so angry. Perhaps this was what it was like to become a woman. In any case, Yihua was getting irritated just by looking at Yihua. Every day Yihua would be long-winded and would never stop nagging. Only when he wasn't around could he have some peace and quiet. In actuality, Yihua was outside every day, and Qingye and the others didn't want to disturb Yihua. Furthermore, when Yihua came back at night, he didn't say anything and just fell asleep right away. In the beginning, I thought that Yihua was tired, but as time passed, I felt that Yihua had changed. Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing took a look at each other, not knowing what they should do now. However, at this time, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji had already disappeared. Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing have to quickly go and stop Yihua. This kind of thing still spread out. Using Yihua's words, his face has been ruthlessly rubbed on the ground. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji immediately arrived at Yihua's door. However, at this time, Yihua's door was opened. A beautiful woman could be seen walking out of Yihua's room while carrying a wooden basin. Although the woman was dressed neatly, in Qingye and Donghuang Baiji's eyes, this woman was no different from not wearing any clothes. In short, the woman who walked out of Yihua's room was definitely tidied up by Yihua. Therefore, the moment the woman walked out of the room, she saw the two women, and felt that the two women looked a bit familiar. However, when the woman saw the clothes that the two women were wearing, she subconsciously kneeled down and knocked her forehead onto the floor. Her entire body was trembling. "Empress! Empress!" The woman shouted out with a panicked tone, and her entire body was trembling crazily. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji tightly clenched their fists, seemingly wanting to tear the woman in front of them into pieces. To actually do our man. This woman simply doesn't want to live anymore. What are you doing outside? Don't you feel ashamed? An ice-cold voice rang out from inside the room. Yihua naturally knew that Qingye and Donghuang Baiji had come, and furthermore, they came with killing intent. The woman who came in just now was just a room attendant, and she came in to deliver hot water to the woman. After washing her face, she was seen by the two women right after she walked out of the room. Yihua naturally knew what the two women were thinking about. They were definitely thinking that I, the Supreme Overlord, was messing around again. I, the Supreme Overlord, just want to ask, why don't you use your butts to think? Am I, the supreme overlord, such a hungry man? Even if I wanted to cause trouble, my target would definitely be dodgy. These two foolish women. As expected, after hearing Yihua's words, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji became even angrier. To actually protect this woman. That's impossible. Come in. Qingye said gravely. If a relationship were to happen, this woman would definitely die. There's nothing much to say. The room attendant was also quite unlucky to have met with these two unreasonable women who were going through menopause. The room attendant merely delivered a basin of hot water to the woman, but looking at the situation, it seemed as if she was going to lose her life. However, the woman did not dare to disobey. These two women who were dressed gorgeously, they were the empresses, the most respected women in the entire Wushu Empire. To be able to see them at such a close distance today, it was unknown if it was because of luck or something else. However, as the most respected women in the entire Wushu Empire, they actually listened to the words of the person inside the room. The person inside the room seems to be a middle-aged man. Just what is going on? Could it be that the two empresses put on the emperor? The woman did not dare to continue thinking about it. If such a thing were to happen, the entire Wushu Empire would probably be shaken. The woman walked into the room. She felt as if the air was going to freeze. This feeling was not very good, and even her heartbeat had slowed down by a lot. Just what are you two trying to do? The woman heard a different voice. This doesn't seem to be the voice of that man from just now. The woman mustered up her courage and raised her head to take a look. When she saw a man who was dressed in a yellow gown and that face, she immediately lowered her head. Her body was trembling slightly. It was unknown if she was trembling because she was afraid or because she was too excited. After all, she had just seen the most powerful man in Wushu Empire. How could she not be excited? Chapter 1331. What do you want? We also want to ask you. What is going on here? Qingye questioned angrily while pointing at the woman who was kneeling on the ground. Yihua was a bit angry in his heart. It's enough for the two of you to be so paranoid all day long. Us being paranoid? If that's the case, why did this woman walk out from your room so early in the morning? Donghuang Baiji asked coldly. Yihua's expression gradually became ice cold. Why are you all being so loud for? Do you all have to make it known to everyone? The woman was very confused. What was going on with the emperor and empress? Why did it feel like their relationship wasn't that good? What? You don't dare to let others know about this scandal. Are the two of you crazy enough? Yihua suddenly stood up, and his aura immediately emerged. A lot of people were able to sense it. This aura was emitted by the boss of Voidless Empire. The location was not inside the palace, but outside. What was going on? Kai Yin soon received the news, and he was a little dumbfounded. However, as the internal manager of Voidless Empire, Kai Yin immediately ordered his subordinates to clear out the surroundings of the hotel. After all, I'm afraid that His Honor and Madam won't have an easy ending today. The children who were sleeping soundly, as well as the subordinates, all felt Yihua's anger and immediately woke up. After wearing their clothes, they left the room. His Honor, you have to calm down, don't get angry. However, in the guest room, the air seemed to be cold. Yihua did not retreat in the slightest. He thought about it carefully last night, and felt that his mother was right. As a man, he should be more magnanimous and not lower himself to a woman's level. Therefore, he decided to coax her today. I don't want my face anymore. Who would have known that they would accuse me of cheating without saying anything else? Although it wasn't cheating on me, they were still suspecting me. Am I that kind of man in your hearts? Am I that kind of man that has no taste? That's right, we have gone mad, but we were also forced to go mad by you. Although Qingye's tone was filled with anger, if one were to listen carefully, they would actually sound a little wronged. I drove you crazy. Are you trying to drive me crazy? Then tell me, what did this woman do? Did you sleep with her? Yihua, you are a bastard. Donghuang Baiji immediately started scolding at Yihua. Donghuang Baiji did not give any evidence at all. Yihua seemed to have been provoked by Donghuang Baiji's words, and he said coldly, Donghuang Baiji, this entire Voidless Empire belongs to me. I can do whatever I want. There is no need for you to worry about it. Sure enough, after hearing Yihua's disguised acknowledgement, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji found it hard to believe. Their entire bodies felt as if they had been struck by lightning, and they stood on the spot unmoving. The woman who was kneeling on the ground was still trembling. His Majesty had just admitted that he had a relationship with me. How is this possible? I'm so excited, so happy. I'm even willing to die now. Suddenly, the woman saw two more figures appear. He took a peek and didn't expect it to be the other two empresses. Heavens, what was going on? Was the emperor going to break up with the empress? God, I really want to share it with others. I can't stop myself. Right now, Yihua appeared to be very calm, as if he had just done a big thing. Qin Yutong and Qian Yuqing had just arrived, and they didn't know what was going on. However, looking at Qingye and Donghuang Baiji, they knew that the situation wasn't that good. Of course, there was also the woman who was kneeling on the ground. Qin Yutong didn't really believe it. No matter what, brother-in-law wouldn't do it. Even Qian Yuqing felt the same way. Yihua wasn't a lecherous person to begin with. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji must be thinking too much, or perhaps, they are looking for an excuse to quarrel with each other. Right now, the outside of the hotel was bustling with noise and excitement. A lot of yellow armored soldiers were beginning to clear out the hotel. This kind of situation had not happened for the past 12 years. I didn't expect that it would actually happen today. This is simply too shocking. The terrifying aura that the emperor emitted out just now is definitely related to this matter. Furthermore, it was a large-scale clearing out of the hotel. From this, it could be seen how serious this matter was. The hotel was cleared out very quickly, and the surrounding buildings were also cleared out. Everyone was frantically guessing what exactly happened. The prince had just returned yesterday, so he should be happy. However, right now outside of the room, all of his honor's subordinates were present, and even the children were present. Even Godyi and Lu Xiener were present. Everyone could sense that the atmosphere in the room was not good, and no one dared to enter the room and anger his honor. Among all of these people, I'm afraid that Donghuang Li is the only one. After all, Donghuang Li is the most beloved child of his honor and his honor's wife. Donghuang Li also knew what she had to do. Taking a deep breath, Donghuang Li walked into the room. The subordinates peeked through the gaps. There is actually a woman kneeling down inside. My God, could it be that his honor is really here? He was even caught on the spot by your wife. Was this proof enough? Your honor, aren't you being too careless? In the future, don't be like this anymore. Next time, if you are going to do something like this, bring your subordinates along as well. Inside the house. Daddy, Mommy. Donghuang Li shouted out lightly. She felt that her father wouldn't do such a thing, and there must definitely be some misunderstanding between them. Donghuang Li called out to Yihua and Donghuang Baiji, but Yihua and Donghuang Baiji did not respond to her. Donghuang Baiji could be seen fiercely attacking that woman. This was definitely not a joke. Donghuang Baiji was planning to kill that woman. The woman kneeling on the ground was oblivious to the fact that she was about to die. After all, Donghuang Baiji was so powerful that ordinary people would not be able to sense her power. Seeing that the woman was about to lose her life, Donghuang Baiji seemed to have frozen in time. Evidently, it was Yihua who stopped the woman. After Yihua stopped the woman, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji's hearts completely exploded. You are actually still protecting this woman? Yihua, you are so ruthless. Qingye immediately took out a machete. Yihua's stance had already caused the woman to faint from fright. Yihua said coldly, I can protect whoever I want to protect. There is no need for me to report to you. Qingye did not say anything, and the machete directly chopped towards the woman's neck, taking away the woman's life. Yihua stopped the woman once again. He didn't give them any face at all. Yihua, do you want her or do you want us? Qingye asked coldly. Your questions are truly childish. Ali, is daddy right? Yihua asked his daughter. Donghuang Li indeed felt that her mother asked a very idiotic question. However, in this sort of situation, how could she possibly remain calm? She was completely unable to remain calm. Mommy, let's talk about it after we return home. This place isn't good for us. Donghuang Li persuaded. Even Dong Huangli knew that the outside wasn't the place to deal with family matters. No, if we don't make things clear today, none of you can even think of leaving. Dong Huang Baiji shouted out coldly. All of Dong Huang Baiji's subordinates who were outside understood what Dong Huang Baiji said. Today's matter wouldn't end so happily. What are we going to do? If something happens to his honor's marriage, sigh. Chapter 1332. Yi Yan, who was standing outside, couldn't take it anymore, and pushed open the door, and entered as well. Right now, only we can stop them. Yi Lu saw that her big brother had entered as well, so she entered as well. God Yi naturally had to enter as well, but he didn't bring Lu Xiener along. After all, Lu Xiener had not gotten married yet. It was best not to touch this kind of thing. Even Yi Juetian didn't dare to enter as his big brother and sister-in-law had already lost their temper, and only the children could stop them. Sigh, just what is going on for things to actually become like this? It truly makes me feel ashamed. Yi Hua didn't pay attention to the children who entered as he said coldly towards Dong Huang Baiji. What do you want to say? What do you want me to say? Dad, calm down. Mom didn't mean to anger you. God Yi hurriedly persuaded. Although Mom would get a bit angry in the past, she wouldn't become like this. You all can come in, but stand at the side and don't speak. Also, don't stop me. I want to see what your mom is going to do today. Yi Hua said gravely. It was very obvious that he had already exploded. Once a husband and wife explode, it would be impossible to stop them. However, as long as one of them is willing to take a step back, it would be easy to solve the problem. However, looking at the current situation, taking a step back is impossible. It is completely impossible. Yi Hua had suppressed his temper for many years, while Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji were bursting with anger. They had completely lost the ability of a woman to think. However, no woman would be able to remain calm after seeing such a situation. Seeing that their father's attitude was so firm, the children could only look towards their mother. Right now, if they were to take a step back, it would mean that they were going to break up. The children were all afraid. They were afraid that their father and mother would separate because of such a thing. Wei Chong and the others stood outside and listened to the conversation, and their expressions were very grave. In the past, when his honor and your wife were in love, it wasn't that they didn't quarrel with each other, but his honor had always tolerated them. Speaking of which, it's fine if a woman coaxes, but no matter how much a man coaxes, a man will get tired of it. Regarding this matter, the subordinates felt that your wife was indeed in the wrong. Comparatively speaking, Qin Yutong and Qian Yuqing were much better. Although they were angry, they didn't have the intention to contradict his honor. Lai Gu took a look at Wei Chong and sighed. In the past, his honor would still put on a show to redeem himself, but from the looks of it now, it is impossible for him to put on a show. If they were to break up, his honor would definitely not ask them to stay. This was something that was certain. I hope that for the sake of the children, your wife will stop going against his honor. This is not good for me, and not good for his honor as well. After causing such a huge commotion, the entire city was guessing what had happened. If this matter were to be leaked out, Voidless Empire would become the laughingstock of everyone. At that time, it would be even more difficult to deal with. When Qingye heard Yi Hua's words, her anger erupted like a volcano. Yi Hua, you ask us what we want. Why are you protecting this woman? I thought you had nothing to do with her. What's wrong with me protecting her? Do I need you to teach me how to do things? Whatever I do, I don't need any explanation. Yi Hua's tone became colder and colder, and his pair of eyes seemed especially distant, as if he was looking at a stranger. When Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji saw the change in Yi Hua, they became even more furious. For the sake of a woman, Yi Hua actually treated us like this. We've been with you for almost 20 years. Was this the result he got in return? Do you not want to live anymore? Dong Huang Baiji asked coldly. As expected, when the children heard Dong Huang Baiji's words, they knew that something bad had happened. I can't say such things to my father. This is completely forcing me into a dead end. Mom, calm down a bit. Dong Huangli hurriedly pulled onto her mother. It has already been so many years. Don't you know father's temper? Father is the easiest to goad. Qian Yuqing knew everything. Big sister Baiji, calm down a bit. You two don't speak. Yi Hua shouted lightly. It was very rare for Yi Hua to transfer his anger onto his tone, and even the way he spoke was very indifferent and ordinary, without much fluctuation. When the subordinates outside heard his honor's tone, they immediately knew one thing, and that was his honor's death. It's not that his honor's death, it's that his honor's wife's death. The way of thinking of women and men is completely different. The women who were standing outside were actually able to understand his honor's wife's feelings. Encountering such a thing, his honor's wife's temper is really bad. His wife's temper is because she cares about his honor too much. If his honor doesn't care about his honor, who would care about what his honor is doing outside? In actuality, his honor isn't making a fuss right now. They just want to receive his honor's care. After so many years, the care that his honor gave to his honor's wife had become less and less. As a woman, this is a very bad thing. Gong Yu deeply understood what his honor was feeling. For this matter, it can't be said that who is at fault, it can only be said that both sides are at fault. Their personalities are also a bit incompatible. They still need to get used to each other. Following Yi Hua's anger, the children no longer dared to make a sound. They are completely unable to help Yi Hua at all. And they can only hope that this matter will end soon, right? Isn't there still Grandma? If I go and find Grandma, Father will definitely give me face. Dong Huangli immediately wanted to go and find Grandma. Ali, Yi Hua called out gravely. Dong Huangli's footsteps immediately stopped, then returned back to her original position. Father is currently, Dong Huang Baiji. Can you repeat what you said just now? Yi Hua asked gravely. Look at me now, I'm directly calling my name. In the past, Dong Huang Baiji's nickname was always Her Majesty, or Baiji. Yi Hua calling Dong Huang Baiji as Dong Huang Baiji made Dong Huang Baiji feel uncomfortable. Dong Huang Baiji didn't have any intention of backing down, and she asked again. Do you not want to live anymore? Yi Hua looked towards Qingya. Are you going to ask this question as well? Yes. Qingya said coldly. All right. Then I will answer this question of yours today. Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing already knew the answer. It's over. Are these two women only going to be happy when they are courting death? The children also knew the result. Mom, why are you so foolish? It's not like you two don't know about Dad's personality. Are you two really convinced by Dad's personality? Or could it be that you two really don't want to live anymore with Dad? The subordinates outside sighed. In the end, things still ended up like this. Perhaps this ending is a good thing for both sides. Being together with his honor is already making the other party feel uncomfortable. What else can we do if we don't separate? Furthermore, as his honor's wife's way of doing things is already a disgrace to his honor. This is something that the subordinates are not willing to see. With a cold and detached gaze, Yi Hua took a look at the situation, then said faintly, since you two can't live anymore, then don't live anymore. Let's split it. Chapter 1335. Yi Juetian, who had flown into a rage out of humiliation, didn't even think before speaking, and he just said whatever he thought of. I don't know just how hurtful these kinds of words are. Gong Yu was dumbfounded and her slender body slightly trembled. Am I this kind of woman in your heart? Back then, when you persecuted Yi, I thought you had changed. I didn't expect that after so many years, you're still the same. How long do you want to hide it? Tell me. Pa. A clear and melodious sound resonated throughout the entire street. Gong Yu held onto her face. Her mind was completely blank. The fiery pain on her face made her heart break. Even back then, Yi Juetian did not beat me up. However, today, Mother, a manic and immature voice rang out. A ferocious aura immediately wrapped around Yi Yi's body. Looking at how wronged his mother was, Yi Yi was furious. That unfamiliar father actually hit his mother. What right do you have to hit my mother? Even if you are my father. Her little fist flew straight towards her biological father. This punch landed solidly on Yi Juetian's cheek. However, in the end, Yi Yi's strength was too small. Even if he was enraged, he was still unable to move Yi Juetian in the slightest. His entire body fell onto the ground. Gong Yu saw her son fall to the ground and quickly hugged him. Mother, Yi Juetian's chest heaved up and down. His anger hadn't dissipated at all. Scram! I don't want to see you ever again. With that, he disappeared, leaving the mother and son alone. Hearing Yi Juetian's heartless words, Gong Yu's heart split apart. After waiting for so many years, to actually hear such a sentence from Yi Juetian. What did I do wrong? Mother, let's go. Let's leave this place. Yi did not dare to say this before because he knew that his mother was waiting for his father. But why would such a heartless father come? Could it be that she couldn't live without him? At this moment, Gong Yu's heart seemed to have died. All of her hopes were completely extinguished by a single sentence from Yi Juetian. Meng Li looked at Gong Yu and the child beside her with a complicated expression. Yi brought along his mother and disappeared into Wushu Empire. As for where they went, no one knew. Following the departure of the person involved, the surrounding people instantly went crazy, and the gossip spread crazily throughout the entire Voidless Empire. There were even many versions of it. What Emperor's younger brother having an affair? That's true love. There was also the Emperor's younger brother who abandoned his wife and son for the sake of a mistress. This was something that many people had seen with their own eyes. There were many other versions of the story. It was as if the royal family had lost all face and had become a laughingstock. Initially, Lin Fan had thought that the royal family of the Voidless Empire would not have anything messy to deal with. But to think that it would be the same as the other empires, where there would be such a melodramatic plot, this was truly something that caused one to sigh endlessly. Right now, Yi Juetian directly went to look for Yi Hua. Big brother definitely knows something. Big brother wouldn't lie to me. Yi wouldn't die. She was so kind. How could she die? No. Definitely not. These people were all lying to him. What did it mean by misfortune never comes alone? This was probably what it meant by misfortune never comes alone. Both brothers had encountered this kind of thing. Very quickly, Yi Juetian arrived at his big brother's sleeping quarters. Yi Hua's face was sunken as he sat on a chair and smoked. If it was any other time, Yi Juetian would definitely not anger his big brother at this time. However, this matter was related to Yi, so Yi Juetian had no choice but to ask about it. In Yi Juetian's heart, this matter was more important than anything else. It could also be said that the current Yi Juetian was the product of his impulsiveness, and he had lost his rationality. As long as he had a bit of rationality, he wouldn't do something like abandoning his wife and son. After all, the reason why Yi Juetian trained for so long was all for Yi. He was able to help Yi when she was in trouble. However, the news of Yi's death was something that Yi Juetian was unable to accept at all. Yi Hua looked at his little brother who ran into the room furiously. He took a faint look at Yi Hua, then retracted his gaze. Big brother! Yi Juetian shouted out gravely. What are you doing? Yi Hua asked coldly. The relationship between the two brothers immediately became strange. One dared to get angry, while the other dared to slap people. However, before Yi Juetian could reply, Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing returned. Qing Ye and Donghuang Baiji did not return, and went to Lu Jing's sleeping quarters. They were definitely pulled over by Lu Jing to talk to them. As a mother, how could Yi Hua ignore them? The moment Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing entered the room, they immediately discovered that the atmosphere was not right. These two brothers seemed to be about to fight. What is going on? Is Yi dead or not? Yi Juetian questioned. Hearing that it was regarding Yi, Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing were a bit surprised. How did little Tian know about the news of Yi's death? This shouldn't be possible. Didn't Gong Yu say it? This doesn't make sense. Gong Yu shouldn't have told this news to Yi Juetian. Then how did little Tian know about it? Yes. She's dead. Yi Hua said coldly. His heart was already extremely bad, and at this time, he still came to talk about this matter. Why didn't you tell me? What's the use of telling you? If I told you, would Yi be able to come back to life? Then why didn't you go and save Yi? Yi Hua suddenly stood up, and his gaze was cold like frost. This caused Yi Juetian to subconsciously take a step back. Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing felt that something was wrong and hurriedly went forward to support Yi Hua. You two brothers should not fight anymore. If he had already saved Yi, Yi Hua would naturally go and save Yi, but he wasn't able to save her. Regarding this matter, Yihua felt a bit guilty and felt that he had let Yi down. However, the younger brother's question seemed to be saying, "Big brother, aren't you very awesome? Why didn't you even save a woman?" This caused Yihua to become angry. "Yi Juetian, who am I going to save? If I am not going to save someone, it is not up to you to point your finger at me." Yihua pointed at Yi Juetian and shouted. He was a bit impulsive to attack Yi Juetian. Yihua wasn't the kind of person who liked to explain. Just now he didn't explain to Qingye and the others, and right now he wouldn't explain too much. Hearing his big brother's words, Yi Juetian's expression darkened even more. Big brother seems to be saying that I am not going to save Yi. Just as Yi Juetian was about to get angry, Wei Chong suddenly walked in. "Your Honor, subordinate has something to report to you." After finished speaking, Wei Chong took a look at Yi Juetian who was at the side. Yihua said gravely, "If there is anything, we can talk about it another day." "Your Honor, you should listen to it first before making a decision." Yihua took a deep breath. "Speak then." Wei Chong walked to Yihua's side, said in a low voice, then left. Yihua's expression became even more grave. This caused Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing to be extremely worried. Just what did Wei Chong say just now? Yihua walked towards Yi Juetian, and his gaze was gloomy. Pa. Chapter 1336. This slap fiercely slapped onto Yi Juetian's face, directly knocking Yi Juetian onto the ground. "Bastard! You actually chased Gong Yu and the child away. Why do I have a bastard little brother like you?" Just now, what Wei Chong reported was precisely this matter. It must be said, the speed at which this matter spread was rather fast, and it instantly reached Wei Chang's ears. This matter concerns his honor's face, and it cannot be looked down upon. Hearing what Wei Chong said, Yihua was incomparably shocked. Before, he had thought that Yi's death would be a big blow to little Tian, but he didn't expect that little Tian would actually do such a thing, chasing away his wife and child. Is he still a human? "I am not even a human. At most, I would only scold at my wife. I definitely wouldn't implicate the child. The main point is, the ones who are in the wrong are them. And what did that Gong Yu do wrong? Gong Yu waited for you for so long and even gave birth to your child. And yet, she was actually treated like this by you." Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing were extremely shocked as they looked at Yi Juetian. They found it hard to believe that Yi Juetian would do such a thing. Perhaps, Gong Yu did some excessive things in the past, but why did she do such a thing? Wasn't it all because of you, as a woman? Qing Yutong was still able to understand the pain in Gong Yu's heart. However, who could understand the world in Yi Juetian's heart? In order to become stronger, in order to be able to help Yi, even if it was just a little bit, he went to train, and he left for 12 years. Although 12 years wasn't much compared to a long life, it was still a lot of days and nights where he experienced life and death. Yi Juetian longed so much to see Yi again, and tell her that he had matured, that he had become steady, that he was able to let her settle down. There are too many things that I wanted to say to Yi, but to tell him right now that Yi had already died long ago. How could he possibly accept this? He felt as if he had completely gone crazy, as if the entire world was against him. Who would be able to understand this kind of feeling? The bridge in his heart collapsed with a loud bang. This could only mean that Yi's position in Yi Juetian's heart was too important. No matter if it was out of love or guilt towards Yi, Yi Juetian wanted to make it up to her. Yi Juetian, who was knocked onto the ground, touched the corner of his mouth. Looking at the bloodstain on his thumb, Yi Juetian said gravely, "Brother, you have always been thinking about yourself. I finally understand why sister-in-law quarreled with you. It is because you are selfish. Everyone has to revolve around you, and everyone has to listen to you. It used to be like this, and it's still like this now. You never consider other people's feelings." Yi Juetian seemed to have gone mad and directly said it out loud. This was really insulting the heavens and the earth. Qian Yuqing hurriedly persuaded, "Xiao Tian, speak less." Qian Yuqing was really afraid that Yihua would slap Xiao Tian to death. Upon hearing that, Yihua suddenly laughed. "You are saying that I am selfish? What about yourself? You even chased away your wife and child. Compared to you, who is more selfish?" Did you think that you would chase Gong Yu away just because she hid the news of Yi's death? Actually, it was I who told her to stop talking. Yi is already dead. This is an unchangeable law. I didn't let you know because I didn't want to see you like this. Have you ever thought about how Gong Yu has been living all these years? When you chase Gong Yu away, have you ever thought about her feelings? What qualifications do you have to lecture me? Ah! Yi Hua shouted out in anger, and a burst of qi exploded out from his body, directly sending Yi Juetian flying onto the pillar. Brother-in-law, calm down. Don't be impulsive. Qing Yutong's head was about to explode. Yesterday was actually a good day. Why did everyone return? Why did the situation become even worse? Yi Hua did not pay attention to Qing Yutong and walked in front of his little brother, then grabbed onto Yi Juetian's collar. I'm telling you, you better find Gong Yu and the child. If not, you can just die outside for me. After finished speaking, Yi Hua directly flung Yi Juetian, and like a cannonball, Yi Juetian crashed into the wall outside, causing rumbling sounds to ring out. Yi Juetian fell onto the ground with a wooden look on his face. His eyes were lifeless as he looked blankly at the sky. His brain was no longer able to think normally. So I misunderstood Gong Yu. Gong Yu only listened to Big Brother's words. She F***ck. Yi Hua couldn't help but curse out, then smashed the wooden chair beside him into pieces. Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing didn't know how to console Yi Hua, and in the end, they decided to let Yi Hua calm down first. Right now, no matter what they said, Yi Hua wouldn't listen to them. At this moment, the news also reached Lu Jing's ears. After hearing it, Lu Jing's entire body didn't feel good, and she seemed as if she was going to faint. Why did the relationship matters between my two sons become like this? Upon seeing that, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji immediately held on to Lu Jing. Mother, what happened? What happened? This bastard little Tian. To actually do such a thing. This is simply the misfortune of our family. Lu Jing held onto her forehead, and her face was filled with grief. Gong Yu is such a good child, and yet, she was actually chased away by your father. Did your conscience get eaten by a dog? You simply don't know how much hardship Gong Yu had to go through all these years. As a man, you actually hit your own woman. This is too disappointing. Thoroughly disappointing. Everyone felt very sad about Yi's death, but we shouldn't blame this matter on Gong Yu, and we shouldn't use Gong Yu to vent our anger on. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji went into a daze. Little Tian actually did such a thing. As expected of brothers, these two brothers are not good people. One is fooling around outside, and the other dares to chase away his wife and child. Like big brother, like little brother. I'm tired, I want to rest for a bit. Lu Jing said in a low voice. I don't really want to care about this anymore. This is too torturous. My two sons are going to torment me to death sooner or later. Mother, you should rest well then, we will be leaving first. Lu Jing nodded her head. At the doorway, Donghuang Li and Yi Yan were both waiting for their mother to come out. The children were both mentally and physically exhausted. They didn't expect that such a thing would happen right after they came back. As expected of the saying, every family has its own difficulties. This was a law that would never change. No matter how powerful a family was, such a melodramatic plot would still appear. I wonder if Grandma's persuasion will work. Yi Lu said in a low voice. God Yi stood at the side and didn't say anything. Lu Xiener, who was at the side, felt that the relationship between God Ye's family was rather complicated. Perhaps it will work. Yi Yan said faintly. There was a crack in the relationship between father and mother. With father's temper, he would definitely not apologize, and mother's temper was rather tyrannical as well. If this goes on, it will be over for them sooner or later. When you adults quarrel, isn't it the children who suffer? Sigh, it's not that simple. Donghuang Li said lightly. At this moment, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji pushed open the door and walked out. Chapter 1337. Mom. The children called out. Seeing that the children were all standing at the door waiting, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji felt a bit better. At least, they didn't run over to that bastard's side and knew to stand on their mother's side. This was also Qing Yutong's idea. She and Qian Yuqing went to calm Yi Hua down, while the children came over to calm their mother down. This should be the best temporary solution. Qingye and Dong Huangbaiji looked at the children and felt wronged. Seeing that their mother was about to cry, the children were speechless. Dong Huangli and Yi Lu hurriedly went over to comfort their mother. And after they comforted their mother, the mother became even worse. Dong Huangli began to cry even more fiercely, and even kept on scolding Yi Hua about how bad he was towards their mother, and how bad he was towards their mother. The children listened and did not say anything. Women, after all, would inevitably complain a bit. Right now, God Yi was experiencing it in his heart. God Yi, don't learn from your father, treat Xian better, understand? Dong Huangbaiji said to her son seriously. However, like father, like son, God Yi's personality was rather similar to Yi Hua's. He was also the most similar out of the 4 children. Mom, you are sad. Perhaps, not long later, you will become a grandmother. Dong Huangli could only use some happy things to wash away the sadness in her mother's heart. As expected, when Dong Huangbaiji heard that she was going to have a grandson, she immediately stopped crying. Really? Dong Huangbaiji looked at God Yi and Lu Xian. That focused gaze of hers was as if she was going to have a grandson. Lu Xian was embarrassed by Dong Huangbaiji's gaze. She kept staring at my stomach. I just did it last night. How can I have a child so quickly? Mother's reaction made God Yi a bit embarrassed. I don't even know what happened last night. I don't even know if this child is pregnant or not. Seeing the reaction of the 2 children, Dong Huangbaiji knew that the gloominess in her heart immediately disappeared. Great, this is great. Mom is waiting to carry a grandson. This is great. Where am I going to find a grandson for Mom to carry? God Yi felt helpless. Is big sister trying to help, or is she trying to cause trouble? As the big sister, Dong Huangli could only help to this extent. Little brother, work hard and give birth to a child. Perhaps when the child is born, the relationship between mom and dad will become better. After all, when a child is born, it means that there is hope. Right now Dong Huangbaiji was happy. However, Qingye felt even worse. Look at God Yi. He has found a girlfriend and is about to have a child. Looking at his own son, he was still single. Just thinking about it made his heart ache. Yi Yan could feel what his mother was thinking. He subconsciously looked away, indicating that he didn't know anything. That's right. Why not let Luer find a boyfriend and give birth to a child to make her mother happy? Just as Yi Yan was about to voice out his suggestion, Yi Lu spoke first. Mom, actually, brother has a girlfriend too. He's just too embarrassed to bring her home. Yi Yan was stupefied. My goodness, you are even faster than me. Yi Lu still didn't know what her big brother was going to do, and she knew that her big brother was definitely planning to make things difficult for her little sister. Since that's the case, don't blame her little sister. Also, big brother, it's about time for you to find a girlfriend. Look at brother God Yi. The child is about to come out. Don't fall behind. Qingye was delighted. Yener, is what little sister said true? Looking at his mother's joyful expression, Yi Yan really wanted to deny it, but the result of denying it was that his mother was disappointed again. Look at how happy Baiji's mother is. Yi Lu, just you wait. Mom, about that, you know what I mean. Yi Yan could only do this. Right now, as long as I can make my mother happy, I will do anything. Qingye said petulantly. Yan, seriously, look at Shun. Even you know to bring your girlfriend home for mom to see. Yet you are the one who is hiding her. That's too rude. Tomorrow, bring someone else home for mom to see. Ah, tomorrow? Yi Yan cried out in surprise. Where am I going to find a girlfriend? Is there a problem? Of course there is. That person's house is very far away. Furthermore, their family education is very strict. They are not allowed to come out. If that's the case, then mom will accompany you. Yi Yan, my dear sister, you have caused trouble for your brother this time. If mom knew that I lied to her, she would definitely be even angrier. You are just adding oil to the fire. No need, no need. This is so rude. How about I go and persuade them? All right, if the other party's parents don't allow it, mom will go over. After all, there is a need to meet the in-laws. Yi Yan immediately became speechless. All right, I will try my best. Dong Huangbaiji smiled towards Qingye and said congratulations. Same to you too, Chinya said with a smile. As expected, when a boy has a girlfriend, this mother will be especially happy. She even forgot about the matter of quarreling with her father. Looking at his mother who left happily, Yin-er was like a deflated ball. Then Yin-er stared at Yi-Lu. Brother, hurry up and go and find her. After finished speaking, Yi-Lu ran away. If not, if I am caught by my brother, I will be done for. Yi-Lu, count yourself lucky that you ran away fast. Yi-Yin said gravely. God, Yi said softly. Big sister, brother, I won't be accompanying you two anymore. I have to hurry up and go back to make a baby. Lu Xian'er immediately became speechless. This is a very romantic matter, and you actually turned it into a kind of mission. Can't you have a proper conversation? Now only Dong Huangli and Yi Yin were left at the scene. Big sister, think of a way, save me. Yin, if I were you, I would hurry up and go and find a girlfriend. Big sister, the time is so short, where am I going to find a girlfriend? Do you have any close female friends? It would be good for you to cooperate with mom and make mom happy. Dong Huangli shook her head. The only close female friend that you have is my little brother. Also, if you are going to find a girlfriend, don't look for her in the empire. Dad will be able to find out her identity in a short while. Try to stay as far away as possible. What you said makes sense. Lu-er, can't you change to another method? How can you go and find a girlfriend so carelessly? Good luck to you. I will go and see how Dad is doing. When adults quarrel, us children are truly worried to death. Dong Huangli let out a long sigh, then slowly walked away. Yi Yin, who had a gloomy look on his face, was left behind. Right now, Yi Yin was thinking of various plans in his mind. Spend some money to find an actress and come back to act in a show. As for the future, just say that their personalities are incompatible, and they broke up. As expected, this is the method that scumbags usually use to break up. Should I look for Uncle Wei? Uncle Wei doesn't even go out to fool around. Where would I find any resources? That's right. Let's look for Aunt. Isn't Aunt the Empress of God's realm? She has a lot of resources in her hands. Let Aunt find an actress for me. Chapter 1338. As long as he dealt with his mother, it would be fine. He would just deal with it like this for now. What a headache. However, he hadn't seen his aunt yet, and had only heard his mother talk about her yesterday. He didn't know if his aunt was easy to talk to, and if she could find a movie empress-level expert for him. His parents had discerning eyes, and if it was fake, they would be able to see through it right away. However, to make his mother happy, this was the only thing he could do. Maybe if his mother was happy, she would have something to talk to his father about. For the sake of family harmony, it seemed like he had to find his aunt. After making his decision, Yi Yin headed straight to God's world. To God's world, this place was still a little foreign. However, there was a sense of novelty. Although Wushu Empire had changed a lot, the palace had always been the same, so there was still a sense of familiarity. Walking on the streets of Spirit Capital, Yi Yin looked around curiously. Was this where gods lived? He thought it would be some sort of celestial realm. In the end, he didn't expect it to be even behind, compared to Wushu Empire. He was a little disappointed. In the past, he often heard about how amazing the gods were in deity institution. They were just bragging to the heavens. In the end, he realized that the gods' world that was bragged about was just like that. It was best if he went to find his aunt. This matter was a little more urgent. Directly charge into the palace? That seemed a little rash. It was his first time meeting his aunt, so it wasn't good to be so rash. Stop. Who are you? The guards at the door directly blocked Yi Yan's path. They crossed their spears in front of Yi Yan to block him. I am looking for my aunt. Yi Yan smiled. Looking for aunt? The guard was a little stunned. This was just toying with the two of them. Yi Yan quickly explained. The Empress is my aunt, so you all know. The guard's expression became a little ugly. There had to be a limit to playing with people. You actually said that the Empress was your aunt. Why don't you say that Prince Yi is your father? What is going on? Only to see that a carriage had appeared. A sweet voice spread out from within. It was really comfortable, like one was bathing in sunlight. Lord Envoy, this person says that the Empress is his aunt. The guard cupped his hands and said respectfully, Aunt? As far as I know, the Empress is ranked second in the Yi family, and the eldest is Prince Yi. Who is Prince Yi to you? Yi Yan was helpless. Originally, he wanted to act cool, but in the end he was seen through. Boring. Lord Yi is my father. Yi Yan's heroic spirit was soaring to the heavens. Using his own father's name really feels good. There is nothing better than this. My father's name is Yi Hua, think about it. Sure enough, when Yi Yan said this, everyone was shocked. Even the woman in the carriage was shocked. She was just guessing. He didn't expect that the young man outside was actually Lord Ye's son. Do you know the consequences of pretending to be Prince Ye's son? At this time, the guards did not dare to offend him easily. There were many people who pretended to be relatives of the Empress, but there was basically no one who pretended to be relatives of Prince Yi. This was the first time. I know. I really have something urgent to see Aunt. Yi Yan said anxiously. What if his mother had a sudden impulse and wanted to meet his girlfriend's family? At that time, she would definitely tell him. You and your father are the same, lying to your mother. Why is mother's life so bitter? Being bullied by you and your father like this, mother doesn't want to live anymore. When he thought of how his mother was going to cry and hang herself, Yi Yan's head became big. This was simply too terrifying. Just thinking about it made his entire body numb. He must bring a girlfriend back to deal with this. Get in the carriage, I will bring you in. The voice in the carriage was still so gentle, making Yi Yan feel very comfortable. He directly jumped into the carriage. The guard seemed to want to stop them, but the guard at the side stopped him with a look. If the great messenger guaranteed it, then it would be fine. Even if something happened, it would not be his fault. Yi Yan was actually also very curious about the pretentious woman in the carriage. Therefore, even if he sat in the carriage and spoke, he would be suspected of being pretentious. Then let me, Gongzi Yi, see what kind of divine being you are. However, when he saw the woman in the carriage, Yi Yan felt that as expected of a pretentious woman. She even masked her face, 666. Wearing a veil and a white skirt, dressed like a saint. Gongzi Yi did not have any feelings for such a saint. Speaking of which, if she wore all black and held a box in her hand, she would definitely be even scarier. You seem to be a little disappointed. You can even see through this. Admirable. Yi Yan cupped his hands. It was not that he had never seen a beautiful woman before. Since he was young, he had seen a beauty like his mother, so his immunity was very strong now. The woman was a little unconvinced. Are you looking down on me? Indeed, you are the son of Lord Yi. You can look down on everyone. Yi Yan looked back at the woman doubtfully. Why do your words sound so sour? Even if you want to fill up your brain, you can't fill it up like this. Don't randomly put labels on me. I am a low-key and luxurious man. After saying that, he took out his folding fan and opened it with a swoosh. Speaking of pretentious, I Yi Yan am no longer a bronze contestant. I am at least a silver contestant. Sigh, my peerless appearance. Seems like you are indeed the son of Lord Yi. Yi Yan was speechless. Beauty, don't always say that I am the son of Lord Yi. It makes me very surprised. This is the truth. If you were not the son of Lord Yi, you would not even be able to enter the door today. If you were not the son of Lord Yi, perhaps you would still be unknown where you are now. After hearing this, Yi Yan was instantly unhappy. It was as if she was saying that he relied on his father. I, Yi Yan, rely on the heavens, rely on the earth, and rely on myself. Alright, you are right. Who asked me to have a good father, allowing me to do whatever I want? Yi Yan grinned and looked at the woman with a naughty smile, as if he was about to do something dirty. The woman did not expect that Yi Yan would say that. She seemed to be a little disappointed in her heart, thus, she remained silent. Seeing that the woman did not speak, Yi Yan did not speak as well. I am too lazy to speak. You only know how to act pretentious, not even speaking, as if you are very awesome. I, young Master Yi, have never acted pretentious like this. Not long later, the carriage stopped. Yi Yan directly jumped off the carriage. Staying together with this kind of woman is simply going to make my balls hurt. Looking at the stairs in front of him, Yi Yan directly walked up, too lazy to look at the woman behind him. Arriving at the front of the main palace, Yi Yan put away his silk pants attitude and became serious as he walked into the palace. Yi Yuanqing just received the news that his nephew actually came to look for him. Thus, he hurriedly contacted his big brother. Big brother said that his son had indeed returned. So it turns out that he went to look for his aunt. Yi Hua was a little puzzled. Why did Yi Yan go to look for Yuanqing? Looking at the woman on the throne, Yi Yan sized her up. Indeed, she looks a bit similar to father. Yi Yuanqing was also looking at Yi Yan. What a handsome child. Chapter 1339. Aunt. Yi Yan suddenly called out. Eldest nephew. Yi Yuanqing shouted too. The atmosphere was a little weird. Anyway, Yi Yan was dumbfounded. His aunt was a little arrogant. Yi Yuanqing smiled and gestured for the people around to leave. Don't interrupt the conversation between aunt and niece. Big brother's son is really interesting. He is not as cold as big brother. How nice is that? However, just as Yi Yan was about to discuss business with his aunt, the crisp sound of footsteps suddenly rang out. Yi Yan stopped instantly. Was this woman trying to go against him? She really knew how to find the right spot. Greetings, Empress. So it's an envoy. What's the matter? Empress, I'm here to bid farewell to you. Yi Yuanqing was stunned for a moment. Envoy, are you ready to go back so soon? Could it be that I did not treat you well enough? Your Majesty, you must be joking. I like this place very much. I really hope that I can stay here for a long time. Yi Yan choked and muttered, saying one thing and thinking another. Although the voice was very soft, it was still heard. Yi Yuanqing asked curiously, Nephew, you know the messenger? I wouldn't dare, Yi Yan said in a low voice. Yi Yuanqing thought to himself. It seemed like there was a conflict. Looks like I've offended Lord Ye's son. I wonder if I'll be killed on the way back, the woman said softly. Judging from her tone, it seemed that she intended to go against Yi Yan. I say, woman, is there something wrong with you? I know you're trying to get my attention. You're just trying to play the trick. Aunt, look, this messenger is seducing your nephew, seducing Prince Ye's son. Yi Yan's words were neither servile nor overbearing, as if he was a hero, standing on the moral high ground and condemning this filthy woman. Fighting with me, Yi Yan, you're still too inexperienced. Yi Yuanqing wanted to smooth things over. He smiled and said, all right. Don't make it seem like a quarrelsome quarrel. Who's his enemy? The two of them said in unison. Yi Yuanqing chuckled. By the way, why did you come to me today? I just talked to your father. Yi Yan glanced at the woman next to him. There are outsiders here. How can I say it out loud? I didn't expect Prince Ye's son to have something he can't say. Who said I can't say it? I, Yi Yan, am the benchmark on the road. Then tell me. If you want me to say it, I'll say it. Who do you think you are? Isn't it because you don't dare to say it? Who wouldn't dare? Tell me then. I won't say it. I'm going to piss you off. Yi Yuanqing watched as the two of them started to argue, and he found that Man Deng was right. He wondered what his big brother was thinking. Chu wasn't very old. She was only a few hundred years older than Yi Yan. Her family background wasn't bad either. She was well-educated, gentle, and virtuous. She was also very smart. She would definitely be able to help Yi Yan in the future. There was no need to mention her looks. Chu was a standard beauty. She would be a good wife. All right. The two of you stop for a moment. Those who don't know would think that you are a couple bickering with me, said Yi Yuanqing with a smile. Yi Yan looked at his aunt in disbelief. Aunt, stop joking. Is she a woman? Chu was also a gentle woman, but when she heard what Yi Yan said, she almost exploded in anger. You say that I'm not a woman, then I say that you're not a man. I'm not a man. Do you want to come and have a taste of my fierceness? See how awesome I am. Vulgar. Shameless. Prince Ye's son is too much. Chu was so angry that her face turned red. Prince Ye's illustrious reputation has been ruined by your hands. However, when Yi Yan heard Chu say that he was Prince Ye's son, he felt a headache. Isn't it good to call him by his name? Why did she add son? Isn't she sick? Forget it, Mr. Yi. I won't lower myself to a woman's level. Yi Yuanqing, who was sitting on the throne, had a smile on the corner of his mouth as he looked at the two of them quarreling. Seems like this aunt, have to be the matchmaker. Big brother can also be a bit more at ease. To you, this child is still very outstanding. There is no problem for her to enter our Yi family. However, she was angered quite badly by her nephew. This is not a good start. All right. Quiet down for a moment, Yi Yuanqing said with a slight smile. The two stopped quarreling, looking like they were unwilling to pay attention to each other. Nephew, if you have something to say, just say it. Chiyu is not an outsider. Aunt, the matter that I want to say is very important, so it cannot be heard by outsiders. Yi Yan naturally wouldn't say it in front of other people. He was very particular about this. Empress, then I will take my leave first, Chiyu said respectfully, then slightly bowed her body and left. Bye-bye. Yi Yan waved his hand, causing Chiyu's tone to be quite heavy. After Chiyu left, Yi Yuanqing shook her head and said, Nephew, this Chiyu is quite a good person. You are a man, so you have to give in to others. Aunt, you didn't see her, she was too arrogant. The moment she opened her mouth, she said that I am Prince Ye's son, making me seem like a profligate son. Yi Yan was actually in a bad mood. This is just a matter of custom for others, Yi Yuanqing explained. There is such a custom. Yi Yan pouted his mouth. Forget it, let's not talk about this anymore. Chiyu has already left because of me. Yi Yuanqing stood up and walked in front of Yi Yan. I have long heard Big Brother talk about you. Seeing you today, you are truly not bad. Of course. Hearing the praise, Yi Yan immediately felt a bit smug. All right, little fellow. What did you come to look for Aunt for? Right now, it is just the two of us. Yi Yan let out a deep sigh. Aunt, do you know that the relationship between my parents is very stiff? Yi Yuanqing of course knew about it. Every year he would go and take a look at their relationship, and at the end he found out that there was a problem between big brother and sister-in-law. What happened? They exploded, they got into a scolding fight. It was just this morning, they were scolding to their heart's content. They almost broke up. Ah, so serious. Yi Yuanqing cried out in surprise. I didn't expect that the matter would be so serious. Yi Yan shook his head. My little brother, he found a girlfriend. Last night they did that, and it was as if the child is going to be born soon. Baiji's mother was very happy. I am the only son of my mother, and I don't have a girlfriend right now, so you are looking for Aunt to give birth to the child? Yi Yan. What the hell? What is wrong with Aunt's brain circuit? Aunt is just joking with you. Do you want Aunt to introduce a girlfriend to you? Yi Yuanqing was a bit mischievous. Seeing Yi Yan's stupefied expression, Yi Yuanqing felt that it was really funny. Not introducing a girlfriend, it is just arranging an actress to pretend to be my girlfriend and make my mother happy for a bit. Once they are happy, they will definitely have something to say to my father. This idea is not bad. All the children have their own families, and for the parents it is good. Chapter 1340. Then Aunt, do me a favor for the sake of our family's harmony. She has already been angered away by you. How can Aunt help? After hearing that, the corner of Yi Yan's mouth slightly twitched. He pointed to the back and said, Aunt, it can't be. You mean the one just now? Forget it. Let's change to another one. Nephew, then do you know what the consequences of changing to another one will be? Yi Yuanqing smiled faintly, looking like an auntie holding a lollipop. What consequences? Yi Yan asked curiously. Yi Yuanqing walked with his hands behind his back and said slowly, Nephew, you asked Aunt to find an actress to cooperate with you, but do you know your identity? My identity? Yes, although I am an actress, Aunt will tell you that there are too many women who want to marry into Yi family. With the conditions that you said, no woman will reject it, even if it is acting. But nephew, if your family approves of it, do you think you can get rid of it so easily? Yi family is very tempting. After hearing that, Yi Yan felt that what Aunt said was reasonable. Finding a woman is enough, but if I have to clean up the mess later on, wouldn't that be even more troublesome? After all, I am so outstanding, There are definitely a lot of women who want to stick to me. If they want to die, then I am finished. But this girl, Chuyu, Aunt dares to guarantee that she has no intention of marrying into our Yi family. You saw it just now, she can still go against you, but it is a pity that you angered her away, sigh. Yi Yuanqing sighed lightly and took a glance at Yi Yan. In the end, he is still a youngster. Can't I change to another one? Aunt, don't make things difficult for me. There are definitely girls like that. Yi Yan said seriously, asking me to beg her again. Where is my face? If I lose my face, isn't that the same as losing my dad's face? Even if I have to jump off a cliff, I will not beg her. Yi Yuanqing shook her head. Nephew, do you think that any random girl will be able to pass? No matter if it is her appearance or her character, Chuyu is top-notch. If sister-in-law sees her, she will definitely be very happy. Yi Yan did not say anything. Indeed, I still have to consider my parents' taste. In any case, I am also an older brother. How can I be worse than Godyi? Although she is just an actress, she must still be a professional actress. Is she really good-looking? Yi Yan said softly. Yi Yuanqing covered her mouth and chuckled. Yi Yan said helplessly, Aunt, everyone loves beauty. It's normal. Didn't you say you were acting? Why do you care about your looks? Of course. After all, everyone in our family is so good-looking. Auntie is also beautiful. Yi Yan immediately flattered, making Yi Yuanqing very happy. After all, she was an empress, and no one dared to praise her so directly. At least you know how to talk. But to be honest, I've never seen Chuyu's looks before. She's from another plane's royal family, and she's even a princess. Her beauty is second to none. Don't worry, I won't harm you. Holy sh*T, and she's the princess of another plane. This title isn't bad. Does this count as a friendship between the two countries? Looks like I, Yi Yan, will have to contribute as soon as I return. So that's how it is, Aunt. But I have already angered her to that extent. Would she still help me? Yi Yan was a little uncertain. If he knew that he was looking for someone else, then he should keep a low profile. Don't make her angry. It was really the will of the heavens. Yi Yuanqing patted onto Yi Yan's shoulder. Nephew, Chuyu is very interested in our family, do you understand? Yi Yan instantly understood. This Chuyu is indeed an envoy, but she also wants to find out about Yi family's situation. That's why Chuyu's current request was exactly what she wanted. Hee, Aunt, you are too good. Hurry up and go. If not, she will really leave. Alright, then Aunt will leave first. After I pacify my mother, I will come and thank Aunt. We are a family. Why are you being so polite? Don't bully Chuyu, do you understand? Don't worry, Aunt. Yi Yan waved his hand and immediately ran out. Yi Yuanqing laughed lightly and immediately contacted his big brother. Why did Yener look for you? Yi Hua asked faintly. Big brother, Yener asked me to find a girlfriend for him to coax sister-in-law. And then? Didn't I just happen to have a girl who is both talented and virtuous? So I introduced her to Yi Yan. Big brother, I feel that they are quite compatible. Do you want to try matchmaking them? Is she reliable? Big brother, don't worry. She is just rather curious about our Yi family. The girl is very nice and gentle. She is a princess from another plane. And I will take a look at her when the time comes. I have troubled you regarding Yener's matter. Big brother, what are you saying? Yener is also my nephew. I still have to worry about things that I should be worried about. However, big brother, you and sister-in-law. Don't mention them. Just hearing about them makes me angry. Yi Hua said gravely. Alright, big brother, don't get angry and harm your body. We are all family. Yi Hua let out a light sigh. I have something to do here. When I am free, I will come over and accompany mother to have a meal. And I understand. Cutting off the voice transmission, Yi Yuanqing rubbed his forehead. Big brother's family matter sure is a bit troublesome. Right now, Yi Yan still didn't know that the matter of finding an actress had already been discovered by Yi Hua, and was currently chasing after the carriage. Luckily, they didn't go too far and didn't leave the palace. Wait. Yi Yan immediately blocked in front of the carriage, startling the horse and causing it to let out a neigh. A cold voice came out from within the carriage. Son of Prince Yi, are you thinking of killing me in the palace? Yi Yan really wanted this Chuyu to change her way of addressing him. But right now, I have a favor to ask of her. No matter how angry I am, I have to endure it. Thus Yi Yan's tense face smiled and entered into the carriage. Vulgar, you are a girl, and the moment you open your mouth, it is so unharmonious, isn't it? Don't be so mischievous here. Chuyu said lightly. Yi Yan, damn it, if it wasn't because I have a favor to ask of you, do I need to be so mischievous here? About that actually. I feel that. The weather today is really good. Yi Yan wanted to say, but no matter what he couldn't say it. This is too embarrassing. I should have let my aunt speak on my behalf. You have something you need my help with? Chuyu asked lightly. Just now, after scolding at Yi Yan, he came over to block the carriage, and even has a mischievous smile on his face. He definitely has a favor to ask of me. F***K. Am I that obvious? Yi Yan laughed out loud, using his laughter to cover up his awkwardness. There is indeed such a small matter. Son of Prince Yi, don't tell me that you shouldn't apologize to me for what happened in the past? What? What is what? You are scolding me again. Chuyu said angrily. Does this son of Prince Yi like to bully people that much? Chapter 1341. No, definitely not. This is just the words from my hometown. It means to be surprised. Yi Yan still had the ability to **t. In order to make his mother happy, he had no bottom line. Chuyu nodded her head. Then apologize. There's no need for that. I didn't do anything to you, and you scolded me too. Yi Yan felt that this woman was just being unreasonable. Don't force me. You were stopped outside the palace. Was it me who brought you in? It's fine if you don't thank me, but you are still acting all high and mighty. And when you saw the Empress, you even humiliated me. I have never been humiliated like this in my life. If you weren't Prince Ye's son, Damn, it's just a small matter, and you have already stretched the matter to the point of humiliation. Can you be even more shameless? And it's this kind of address again. All right, it's my fault. I shouldn't have humiliated you. Calm down. Yi Yan was helpless. He didn't want to lower himself to a woman's level. Now he finally understood how troublesome women were, and he could also understand his father's sorrow. How could he endure his mother's bad temper? After hearing that, Chuyu did not say anything. It could be considered as accepting the apology, and her heart felt a bit better. You can help me now, right? When did I say that I will help you? Yi Yan went into a daze. Hey, you can't go back on your words, right? Prince Ye's son, there seems to be a bit of a problem with your ability to understand. Damn. There is a problem with this understanding. This woman is the king of verbal cannons. The kind that can kill you with just a bit of faulty language. Seems like I can only use my big move. I hope that what Aunt said is right. Follow me home. Pretend to be my woman. Yi Yan directly stated his purpose. It was really simple and clear. Although Yi Yan's words made Chuyu go into a daze, she had actually guessed that the Empress wanted to talk about family matters with her nephew. Seems like this is what this Prince Ye's son is talking about. Yi family. Seeing that Chuyu was hesitating, Yi Yan felt refreshed. Seems like what Aunt said is right. Just now you were suppressing me, now I want to get back at you. If you are not willing, then forget it, I am leaving. Without waiting for Chuyu to react, Yi Yan directly jumped off the carriage. Actually, he was a bit nervous. What if this woman did not call him? What if she ran back obediently? No, this woman wanted to go to the Yi family. Now was the best time. She would definitely not let go of this opportunity. Yi Yan counted down in his heart as he walked back. I'll count to 10. This woman will definitely not be able to hold it in. If she can hold it in, I, young Master Yi, will eat shit live without frowning. The sound of the carriage rolling on the ground rang out. Yi Yan had already started counting down to 20. And this woman actually did not call out to me to stop. F***ck me. So powerful. If I turn around, I'll jump off the city wall. After quite a while inside the carriage, Yi Yan said, beautiful lady, just help me really please. Yi Yan never beg anyone. Yi Yan was really defeated by this woman. Not in terms of force, but in terms of mentality. She was indeed the girl that his aunt liked. She was so stable and would definitely not give herself away in front of his parents. Prince Ye's son, I'm also an innocent woman. I'll pretend to be your wife and go home with you. Once you've done your job. What about my reputation? It can't be, you want me to marry you? The corner of Chiyu's mouth twitched. She wished that she could just kick Yi Yan and put aside her recuperation. You're thinking too much. It's good that you're not. If you have any requests, feel free to tell me. If I can satisfy it, I will satisfy all of them. Chiyu lightly rubbed her chin, then looked at Yi Yan and asked faintly, if you can tell me on what basis should I help you, I will promise you. On the basis that you are interested in my family, Yi Yan directly said. This caused Chiyu to go into a daze for a moment. After quite a while she said, as expected of Prince Ye's son, I can promise you, but you have to promise me a few things. Tell me. I have already pretended to cooperate with you, but after we go to your family, you have to give me a detailed introduction. During this period of time, we are only pretending, and there cannot be any physical contact. Yi Yan was speechless. Big brother, pretending to be husband and wife without any physical contact? Who would believe that? That will depend on the situation. If you do something excessive, even if I die, I will expose your conspiracy. Damn. Isn't it just pretending to be husband and wife? You are making it seem like I am trying to usurp the throne. Relax, I am not interested in you. Yi Yan took a glance at Chiyu. She was wrapped up tightly, and nothing could be seen on her body. However, Aunt said that her looks are not bad. As long as she is around the same as God Ye's wife, it will be fine. If I surpass her, it would seem like I am acting cool, haha. It better be like that. In the past, there have been men who said that before. But in the end, she really smells good. Yi Yan's jaw was about to drop onto the ground. Are you sure that this isn't someone from the same hometown? Relax, even if I die, I will not do anything to you. Yi Yan patted his chest and said seriously. When are we going? We are going now. However, before that, we still have to discuss how we got to know each other. If not, if we ask about something that doesn't match up, that won't do. Chiyu nodded her head, agreeing with Yi Yan. I will bring you around Wushu Empire first. Have you been there before? Yi Yan asked curiously. Yes. Thinking about it, you will go there too. Tonight, I will bring you around the Imperial Palace. After hearing that, Chiyu became a bit nervous. After all, this is Prince Ye's house, and I didn't expect that I would be able to enter it this way. I have heard about it before, and now that I am able to see it with my own eyes, I am nervous and excited. Can you promise me one thing? Yi Yan said solemnly. What thing? Don't call me Prince Ye's son anymore, just call me Brother Yan, alright? This kind of request was not too much, so Chiyu nodded her head and agreed. Then, since we are going to disguise ourselves, are you going to take off your veil? I have to take a look as well, if not, if someone asks me, I won't even know what you look like. You can be at ease, I am still very confident in my looks, I will not make you lose face. Chiyu said lightly. Seems like she is indeed very confident in this aspect. Yi Yan did not force her. Alright, but don't trick me. If you don't make me angry, I naturally won't trick you. Fortunately, that is not true. Yi Yan let out a light sigh. If I have a wife like this, I will really have a big headache. It is not good to be too smart. Sometimes, it is cuter for a woman to pretend to be stupid. Chiyu naturally heard what Yi Yan said, and she snorted coldly. The two directly went to Wushu Empire. Yi Yan and Chiyu also talked about how they got to know each other, and so on and so forth. Only after both of their testimonies matched up did Yi Yan feel at ease and bring Chiyu into the Imperial Palace. However, Yi Yan was also a bit nervous. If my disguise is seen through, I will be dead. Chapter 1342. At night, our whole family will be sitting together for dinner. Yi Yan said in a low voice as he walked in the palace with Chiyu. Is there anyone else? Chiyu asked in a low voice. My dad, for mom's my big sister, my younger brothers and sisters, and also my grandma. Originally, my uncle's family would be here as well, but something happened today, and it's not a good thing. You will know about it in the future. Yi Yan didn't want to go into details, This should also be considered as a family scandal. So it's better not to spread it out. This Chuyu is still an outsider, not one of us. Of course, Chuyu knew that Prince Yi had a younger brother, but hearing that there was a scandal, she was also quite curious. Seems like as long as one is a woman, one would have a gossipy heart. However, she was also curious about Yi Yan's brothers and sisters. Prince Ye's son, the situation in your family is indeed a bit complicated. Yi Yan felt a headache. Didn't we agree on how to address each other? Brother Yan, I'm sorry, I'm not used to it. Chuyu said softly, sounding very pleasant. Yi Yan liked this kind of tone. Nice to hear. Gentle enough. 100 times gentler than his mother's tone. It's really nice to hear you speak with this kind of tone. As a standard scumbag, Yi Yan naturally knew how to coax a girl. However, Chuyu was a child that was a few hundred years old and had a lot of experience. It wasn't like she hadn't seen this kind of scumbag before. Men are all the type that talk glibly, especially those like Yi Yan. They are very unreliable. What kind of tone I use when I speak will depend on what kind of attitude you have. Alright, take it that I didn't say anything. However, can you take off your veil now? Do you want to run in front of my parents like this? Yi Yan was actually very curious about Chuyu's appearance. His aunt said that she was a super beauty, but he didn't know if it was true or not. The custom of my hometown is like this. Girls that are not married cannot take off their veil. Chuyu didn't lie to Yi Yan. This was a custom that couldn't be violated. Then you can't be eating like this too, right? Later on, my parents will definitely ask you to take off your veil. Yi Yan said seriously. After speaking for a while, he continued. If you don't take off your veil, my parents will think that you are not giving them face, and the situation will be even worse. I'll decide based on the situation, Chuyu said helplessly. It doesn't depend on the situation. It has to be. I'm not joking with you. My family isn't as simple as you think, especially when it comes to the marriage of our generation. Yi Yan emphasized again and again. Don't pretend. Don't pretend and cause trouble. Chuyu nodded. I understand. All right, let's go. Yi Yan stretched out his hand and held on to Chuyu's small hand. It feels not bad. Chuyu's small hand is soft, and it feels very comfortable to hold on to. Chuyu frowned but didn't say anything in the end. In order to see the legendary Yi family, the price she paid was quite big. Soon, the two of them arrived at Lu Jing's chamber. Chuyu could vaguely see the figures inside, and they were all sitting together. Yi Yan was a little nervous. After all, this was a fake. It would be a little difficult to fool his parents. He hoped that nothing would go wrong tonight. Chuyu, hold on. Your palms are sweating. Yi Yan, this Chuyu sure knows how to adjust the atmosphere. Yi Yan became a little more relaxed as he held on to Chuyu's hand and walked into the main hall. Right now, Yi Hua's entire family was sitting together. The atmosphere didn't seem to be very good, and no one spoke. Seeing this atmosphere, Yi Yan felt a chill. If I were to be exposed, the situation would become even more depressing. Yi Yan tightened his grip on Chuyu's small hand, seemingly trying to cheer for Chuyu. However, Chuyu was currently even calmer than Yi Yan. To Chuyu, when she saw the legendary Lord Yi and such a large family, her heart surged. Ever since she heard about Yi family, she became incomparably curious. Just what kind of person was able to overthrow the rule of a deity? Look at Lord Yi, that domineering aura between his brows. That is the aura of a ruler that he was born with. Also the woman beside him. She truly made me feel inferior. This will be my future goal. Grandma, Dad, Mothers, I'm back. Yi Yan stood at the entrance and shouted out respectfully. Chuyu, who was at the side, immediately became nervous, because everyone was looking at her. Even Dong Huangli was very surprised. This Yan, or where did he find such an actress in less than a day's time? Furthermore, he even appeared with a veil on. Doesn't he know that this is disrespectful? Idiot. Are you trying to make Dad happy, or are you trying to make Dad unhappy? Who dares to wear a veil in front of Dad? Yi Lu was the same. Where did Big Brother find such an actress? Who dares to wear a veil in front of Dad? Yi Lu was the same as well. Where did Big Brother find such an actress? It can't be that he bought her with money, right? If Mom were to find out about this, wouldn't she spank your butt? God Yi looked at Big Brother and was very puzzled. How did he suddenly get a girlfriend? Did he hide it so deeply? Lu Xian'er's thoughts were different. Finally, there is someone that I can communicate with. Lu Jing was of course very happy when she saw this. She couldn't wait to have a house full of children and grandchildren. Although I can't see her face, just by standing there, I can feel a kind of gentleness and even a kind of amiable and approachable feeling. This kind of girl is indeed not bad. From the looks of it, her family background should be pretty good. I wonder how does she look like? Yihua looked at Chuyu. Yihua looked at Chuyu. So this is my younger sister's matchmaking. The girl looks not bad, but wearing a veil, it seems like she is not giving me face at all. As a junior, seeing that an elder is still wearing a veil, Yihua would naturally be a bit unhappy. Yi Yan seemed to be able to sense his father's unhappiness. I knew that this veil shouldn't be worn. You just didn't listen to me, stupid woman. Dad, Mom, this is my girlfriend, Chuyu. Previously, I was embarrassed to bring her back, but today, I finally brought her back. Don't misunderstand. There is a rule in Chuyu's hometown. This unmarried girl cannot take off her veil. Yi Yan hurriedly explained. I can't let Dad and Mom be unhappy. I was already unhappy to begin with. If I make things worse, that would not be good. Hearing that, Yihua asked faintly. Unmarried girl? Cannot take off her veil? Yan-er, in that case, even you have never seen her before? Yi Yan was immediately speechless. Dad attacked so quickly. So ferocious. Thus, Yi Yan directly touched Chuyu's palm. Who asked you to act cool? Look at what happened now. At this moment, Chuyu said respectfully, Prince Yi, Chuyu has been rude. However, this is the rule of my hometown. Chuyu has no choice. Brother Yan and I are truly in love with each other. This is a heart-to-heart communication. Yihua knew about the inside story. Towards Chuyu's reply, he was rather satisfied. However, you two little things, you are actually faking it in such a dignified way. Chapter 1343. You guys are really not putting me, your father, in your eyes? Then I can only let you guys give birth to a child to apologize to me. Yi Yan was startled. Who are you trying to bluff? Heart-to-heart communication. So you didn't even blink when lying. Yan-er, you two have never even seen Chuyu's face before? Qingye asked in shock. This is too exaggerated. Could it be that this is true love? Dong Huangli almost laughed out. Can the two of you be a bit more serious? At least check your statements before coming here. Looking at the situation, it seems like both of you didn't check your statements properly. Towards his mother's question and answer, Yi Yan could only brace himself and say, Mom, Yan-er, do I look like the kind of man who would judge a book by its cover? I like Chuyu's inner beauty. Poochie. Yi Lu couldn't hold it in anymore and laughed out. Liking other people's inner beauty. Yi Yan glared at his sister. If not for you, would your brother have done such a thing? I even begged her to pretend to be Chuyu. What a loss. Lu. Qingye called out in a low voice. Sorry, Mom, Lu, forgot myself. Yi Lu hurriedly apologized. Under normal circumstances, Yi Lu wouldn't laugh unless I couldn't hold it in anymore. Dong Huang Baiji laughed. Come and sit down first, Chuyu. Don't be restrained. Since Yan-er brought you into the house, from now on, we are a family. Yi Yan let out a sigh of relief and pulled Chuyu to sit down first. This can be considered as passing the first test. At this moment, Lu Jing asked kindly, Yan-er, how did you two get to know each other? Before Yi Yan finished speaking, Yihua asked faintly, Lu, do you know that your brother is looking for a girlfriend? Yi Yan thought to himself, this is bad, Lu, if you were to trick me today, even if I become a ghost, I won't let you off. Yi Lu's heart sunk. His mind was frantically trying to pretend that he understood. Right now, Yi Lu's IQ was increasing at a rocket speed. The truth proved that, when a person is lying, their IQ is like Einstein. I don't know. Yi Lu said lightly and gave a very good answer. Yi Yan let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, I didn't trick my brother. Yihua asked, Tell me, how did you hide it? Yi Yan prepared to tell her. Yan-er, I'm not asking you to say it. I'm asking your wife to say it. Yihua said faintly. He was already referring to Chuyu as his son's wife. This made Chuyu a little embarrassed, but she still followed the plan. That was 2 years ago. Back then, Brother Yin was training. At that time, I met a few bad guys. Fortunately, Brother Yin appeared in time. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. After hearing that, Yihua let out a sigh in his heart. Can't the two of you come up with an interesting meeting scene? This kind of melodramatic plot, your old man, I have long stopped using it. Yi Yan added. At first, I didn't have any feelings for Chuyu. Me too, Chuyu immediately said, as if she was a little angry. However, this made Qingya and the others feel that these two people are a bit interesting. From the looks of it, these two people are the kind of people who like to quarrel. When Yi Yan heard Chuyu actually refuting him, he immediately secretly tugged at Chuyu's clothes. What do you mean? You're being too unreasonable at this time. But Chuyu must repay me with her body. You were the one who chased me relentlessly. Everyone. Just how many versions are there? Dong Huangli turned her face away. Are you two joking around? However, in Yihua's eyes, this plot was actually not bad. There was a bit of a twist in the plot. Continue. Who's chasing who? Him. Her. From the looks of it, these two people are really at loggerheads with each other, and everything that was agreed upon previously is thrown to the back of their minds. Looking at her son and future daughter-in-law, Qingya had a smile on her face, and her mood immediately became much better. Alright, Yinner, you have to treat girls better. Don't be calculative with girls all the time. Don't be like your father. Qingya said tenderly, and conveniently. Even Yihua was being talked about. Yihua said faintly, what about me? Back then, weren't you the one who chased me? If it wasn't for Yan, would I be able to look for you? If you have the ability, then don't look for me. Everyone had a stupefied look on their face. As they spoke, Yihua and Qingya actually started scolding each other. Seeing that his parents actually started scolding each other, Yi Yan felt extremely anxious in his heart. From the looks of it, the more they quarrel, the fiercer they will become. I was still thinking of bringing my girlfriend back to ease the tension. I can only change the topic. Change what topic? What topic? This is what we are interested in. Dead mom. Actually, I brought Chuyu back today. It's because Chuyu has a child. Yihua and Qingya immediately stopped what they were doing, then looked at Yi Yan and Chuyu with a face full of astonishment. Not only Yihua and Qingya, everyone else was the same. Their jaws were about to drop onto the table. Dong Huangli was astonished in her heart. Bro, this nonsense of yours is too much. Let's see when you are going to give birth to a child. Chuyu was also incomparably astonished. There was no such thing in the plan. After hearing that, Lu Jing became extremely happy, and her expression immediately became better. You are pregnant? That's great. Yinner is really not bad. Yihua didn't even bother to quarrel with Qingya anymore. On the other hand, I am curious, how are you planning to give birth to a child, Yinner? Qingya's expression immediately changed. Really? You aren't lying to mom? At this moment, Yi Yan regretted. Why did I say that I am pregnant? It's true. Yi Yan was helpless. I am the one who is faking it. Even if I die, I have to finish faking it. Wow, when did this happen? Qing Yutong asked curiously. However, the question was directed towards Chuyu. Chuyu didn't know what to say anymore. This shameless Yi Yan. He is definitely taking revenge on me. However, what else can I do right now? This is just like that saying, a small lie. In the end, I have to use even more lies to cover it up. It has already been a month. Chuyu said with a bashful tone. That's why I directly brought her back. Yi Yan added. After hearing that, Yihua nodded his head. Not bad, she is pregnant. Shinner, you two have to work hard as well. God Yi went into a daze for a moment, then hurriedly said, Daddy Xianer and I are currently working hard. Lu Xian, pinched God Yi ferociously under the table. What work hard? You liar, you tricked me into your house, then took possession of me. Yihua's child is born with the attribute of possessiveness. Dong Huang Baiji looked at her son and seemed to be saying, Look at your brother, he only brought her home after getting pregnant, you should do the same. Qingya said tenderly, Chuyu, since the two of you have already developed to such a stage, Can you take off this veil and let everyone take a look at you? Chu had already said it to this extent. What else could Chu do? Chu could be seen slowly raising her hand and taking off the veil. Everyone was curious about what Yi Yan's girlfriend looked like. Even Yi Yan himself was curious. You're tuning in to the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.